Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Sports Stuff podcast with me and Aaron. Aaron, what is up?
Not much, man.
Oh, we have a full docket today. I was really worried that towards the end of the season we wouldn't have that much to talk about, but man, NFL just wants to make sure that we got stuff to talk about, which is very nice of them. So, starting off, as of today, it's official. The greatest quarterback of all time has officially retired. Tom Brady announced his retirement exactly a year after he originally announced it. But I think this one's for real. I think the emotional toll of his family falling apart has really made him like, okay, this is done. I can't do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's done. According to a lot of analysts that have come out and people close to him, towards the end, was he considering other offers? Of course, like other offers looked good. Like I'm sure the 49ers looked really good. He was probably looking at that game being like, with that roster, I would have won. But according to sources,
Wanna know what looks better though? $375 million to talk about football.
yeah. So, yeah, but he's just such a competitor. But towards the end, apparently it was either Tampa Bay or retirement. He wasn't really like even considering. He didn't want to move his family, nor did he want to be away from his kids for a whole NFL season. Like, so it was either move his family or be away from his kids for a whole NFL season. And he didn't like either option, so he decided that was one of the biggest reasons he decided to just call it a career.
Yeah, no, I think that one, I'm happy that I decided to go to the Browns Bucks game this year. It was probably the best Browns game of the year as well. But I got to officially see Tom Brady before he retired. That's one thing I want to do. I want to see LeBron James before he retires. I want to see Steph Curry before he retires. That is a goal of mine.
He's about to score the all-time
Dude,
leading scorer. As soon as his son, he plays one game with his son, he's gonna be like, "All right, I'm
yeah,
done."
that's so. I have that. Me personally, that's what I'm waiting for. Is I want to go to a game where it's him and his son. Like I told Andrew, my brother, I told my dad. I'm like, dude, I'm going. The only basketball game I want to go to is a Steph Curry, or like if he's Indian, I guess it'd be Indianapolis. But like if we go to an Indiana Pacers game where it's where it's LeBron and his son. That's the only game that I really want to go to. So I'm gonna wait till that happens. But so I got one of my bucket list items done. I saw Tom Brady play. Yeah, it was amazing. That stadium was electric. It was electric. And we asked. I asked Browns fans at the game, like, "Hey, why did you come to today's game?" They said, "Well, it's Tom Brady." Like,
Yeah.
Tom Brady is one of the biggest draws in NFL history to go to a game. So seriously, for me, it was an honor. Not only
Well,
to
the last 2 or 3 years, this could be his last season.
Yep.
I think this season more than like any of the last seasons, I didn't expect him to retire this year. Like after
Really?
the New England, it was a really like expected. Well, if you come back and you lose your marriage and you lose all this stuff and you go through all of that stuff to still play football and you still have it, like there's arguments that he should still be MVP this year. Like there's arguments out there that are very valid. He had the all-time leading attempts and all-time leading completions in NFL history and was only like 600 yards away from Patrick Mahomes in yards.
Well, he's gonna be number two. Let's be honest. He's gonna be number two.
He'll be number two, but I don't know, like, but just saying that, but like he still obviously can play,
Yeah.
but I get why he did retire, but I didn't expect it. But like last year, I kind of expected it. The year before
Oh
last,
no, yeah, no.
even
Last year,
last year,
I really thought last year was his last year. I'll say I really thought he was not coming back
I
because
didn't think so either, just because there wasn't enough for him to come back to.
there was rumors
But
already that his marriage was failing last year. 'Cause I remember
yeah.
those rumors, and I'm like, oh man, he's not coming back. And then when he
Mhm.
retired, I'm like, okay, that's a nail in the coffin. So when he came, I was truly surprised he came back. He's
Mhm.
not coming back. I think that really did. Like I think he still loves football, but I think
But he'll be close to football still being an analyst,
yeah,
and
he'll be like the next Tony Romo in the booth where he's in every
Mhm.
big game is Tom Brady.
Yeah,
What I
or
want is
yeah,
a Tom Brady Peyton Manning podcast now. Screw the
you
Manning
couldn't afford.
brothers. Screw the Manning brothers, bro. I want Tom Brady on that
No
panel with
one could
Peyton
afford
Manning.
that.
I don't care. So Amazon,
No one
Amazon,
could afford that.
Amazon. Thursday Night Football. Tom Brady,
Maybe
Peyton Manning every Thursday.
he's got a 10-year deal with Fox.
Oh right, Fox, right, Fox.
He's
What
got
is?
like either a 7 or 10-year deal.
I think Peyton Manning is ESPN, so I don't think they can actually do that. I think he's
No,
ESPN. But
yeah,
I think
but
100% we will see eventually a Peyton Manning Tom Brady broadcast. I think that is bound to happen eventually.
Oh yeah, some sport or capacity, you'll see it in the even if it's them in their 50s or 60s, and when they're starting to retire and they'll do a Super Bowl or
And
they'll
when
do
Bill
something.
Belichick retires, same thing. I think Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are going to do a broadcast together. I think that's
They
one.
don't
I
like
think that's
each
good.
other.
No, 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 no. So I used to believe that, but Bill Belichick. I don't. This is like last year they were doing the 2010s. Bill Belichick was on a panel with a bunch of other 2010s legends, and he said Eric the Reed. Oh, I can't remember his name. Was it for the Ravens? Reed. Why can't I remember
Hmm.
his name? But he was like gushing about him. He goes, the only guy that I actually felt Tom Brady couldn't beat was Reed on the Ravens, the safety. Him and Ray
Hmm.
Lewis. He said that's the only guy that and he goes, I love Tom, but those are the only
Yeah.
two guys I genuinely feared us losing every game against.
Hmm.
So I think
No,
Belichick. I think they needed to separate. I think they're good now. I think they needed to walk away from each
I
other.
think they'll be fine once after give them 5 or 10 years after they both retire, and then they'll be fine. I think there's still some animosity there, but not a lot.
Well,
I
Brady
think
won. Brady won that. If they had a
Brady won.
yeah.
Well, I mean, so far, if Bill goes off and wins two more with Mac Jones, which isn't going to happen, but if he
No.
does, then
If he wins one though, I think that'd be amazing if he wins one with Mac Jones.
yeah,
I think
I
I think
really want
Belichick's
it.
done after next Super Bowl though. I don't think he's playing for another two. I think his next one he's done because he
Oh
would
yeah,
then
if he wins one more, he's 100% done.
because he already has
There's no
nine.
way.
He has 9 Super Bowls.
I think he's got 2, 3 more years max just because of his age. Like you just can't physically keep doing that. But yeah, no, Tom Brady is the best. I mean, he's got just short of 90,000, 90, 90,000 yards. He has 649 touchdowns, only 212 interceptions, and he only missed one season,
Yeah, yeah.
like due to injury. And then the other 4 games that he missed since 2008 was due to Inflategate.
Which literally, again, do I believe it was true? That's not the
100%.
conversation. He was proven innocent by the law, but the
There,
NFL
he was
still
proven that
wanted
there was
the
not enough
NFL.
evidence.
Yeah, the NFL still wanted to suspend him, and then he won the Super
Yeah,
Bowl that year, and Roger Goodell had to hand him the
it was great.
Lombardi.
It was great. I
Yeah,
loved it.
Brady's official full stats: his 23 NFL year NFL career, 7-time
Hmm.
Super Bowl champion, 5-time MVP,
Yep.
5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time
Yep.
NFL MVP. Not enough.
I
6-time.
think, I think,
Sorry, you're good.
I think he might win it this year. I
I don't think he
really
will.
think
It's
since he
Fitzpatrick.
retired,
It's Patrick.
I,
Mahomes made the
I
Super
think
Bowl.
he's going to get a lot of vote. I think it's going to be a closer than a lot of people think.
If
Since he
Mahomes didn't make
retired
it to
this
the
year,
Super Bowl, I would agree with you. But Mahomes made it to the Super Bowl.
it's a regular season award.
I know,
But
but you gotta remember
Right.
recency bias. Recency bias. Mahomes on a
I'm pretty sure
broken
they
leg.
vote on that
On a
in wild.
broken
I'm pretty
leg.
sure they vote. Yeah.
On a
No, it
broken
was
leg, Mahomes
crazy.
made it, man.
But I think they vote on that in the wild card just so they aren't swayed by the playoffs.
I hope so. I
If
hope
I'm not
so.
mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure I heard something of them having to vote on that in the wild card or like that week,
Yeah.
just so they're not swayed by what the playoffs do.
He was only a 6-time All-Pro, which is shocking to be honest with you. He was only a 6-time All-Pro, 15-time
Well,
Pro Bowler, most touchdowns at 649, like you said, most
mhm,
passing yards ever at 89,000,
yep,
most wins ever. Like
yeah.
I don't think Mahomes is the only guy I think currently in the league who has a chance to
Hmm.
beat most yards, most touchdowns, most wins ever. He's
Yeah.
the only guy in the NFL right now I think could do it.
Well, in all fairness, in his first 10 years in the league, he only threw for over 4,000 yards 3 times.
I don't care.
So
It don't matter.
I
I think
get
Mahomes is the only
early,
guy. I think Mahomes is the only guy at
early.
this current second on pace to beat him. Josh Allen, we were talking about Josh Allen last week. You already know how I feel about Josh Allen. Josh Allen ain't beating those numbers.
No, he's not going to have the career to do it. He relies too much on his legs. He's going to
Yep.
get hurt too much. We
Just
saw what Patrick Mahomes could do last week if he had to stay in the pocket.
yeah, I'm
And
very excited for Mahomes.
arguably, he was better in the pocket than he is when he's scrambling around and doing other things.
Yeah, I think this
Like
season has
he had
really
a
shown
great
how
game.
good he is. Like,
Yeah,
like Brady won Super Bowls with Julian Edelman as his best wide receiver.
he
Mahomes
had
won. No. I'm saying receiver, best wide
yeah
receiver.
receiver, but
Like,
yeah,
like
he had
Travis Kelsey and Gronk are about the same. They're about the
yeah.
same. But wide receiver, he won a Super Bowl multiple times with Julian Edelman as his best guy.
Yeah.
Mahomes might win a Super Bowl this year with Juju Smith-Schuster as his best receiver. He's on
I
pace
think
to
that
beat Brady. If he
I
wins it
think the
with
only guy
Juju,
in the league right now that could surpass Brady's legacy is Mahomes.
yeah, 100%. If he, especially if he wins this year, he'll have 2 Super Bowls, more than likely MVPs as well. 2 Super Bowl wins by the time he's 26 or 27, whatever he is. Two of
So if
them.
he plays even till 35, 36,
Every
he's
five
already going to
years, he
be,
wins 2 Super
which is
Bowls.
17 games now. They want to push it to 18. So it's just the yards. Brady's record's not untouchable. We've seen multiple quarterbacks get to that level at the 16. It's
Yeah.
going to be close to untouchable just because how long he played. But once they move it to an 18, 19 game season, that's an extra 4, 5, 600 yards each season.
Do you think anyone
That
will ever surpass 100,000 yards in a career? Do you think it'll ever
I
happen?
think the NFL. I think the NFL wants at least 20 games. I think that's what they want, and if we go to that, then yeah, just because how can you not? But if we go to 20 games, do you have an alternate quarterback that plays like two of those games at that point? Because
Well, I think you
that's
have
a
multiple
lot of
bye weeks. I think you have multiple bye weeks.
yeah.
It
I
that
have
that
no idea
that
how
would
you do that.
be that would
I
be there
think it's
that would be there's
possible.
no preseason. There'd be no preseason. I think you have to have at
Yeah,
least 2 or 3 bye weeks if that happens.
but honestly, I don't think so. Just because of the legit, like how long Brady played. He played for 23 seasons. Is that correct?
23-year NFL
That's
career.
I just don't think you can stay healthy for that long,
Yeah,
even in today's NFL.
yeah.
But Brady was just an enigma. He was just had good offensive lines, good running games that really did help him out.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. Drew Brees, if his arm didn't give out, like
Hmm.
he could still be playing. He did not get injured
Yeah.
that much. He did not get injured that much.
No, he
It was
didn't,
really
and he
just
had
his
good
arm.
throw. Yeah,
Like if you
he just.
all we need is a
Yeah.
pocket passer type of quarterback who can
But you've
maintain
seen
an
the
arm.
people. You've seen the people that have been at those numbers.
Mm,
Peyton Manning was the leader there for a hot second. His arm gave out towards the end.
yep.
Breeze was there. His arm gave out in the end. I think Brady looked at that in the offseason this year and was like, you know what? I'm going to retire on my terms. I was second, third in MVP racing this year. I broke records at the age of 45. I had my team in the playoffs. I won my division. It wasn't a Super Bowl year, but I don't think I'm going to get another Super Bowl. I'm going to just go out on my terms instead of
Hmm.
my arm being the reason I go out. Brett Favre couldn't throw towards the end. Like all these guys that were at the top, once they get there, their arm and shoulders are just shot.
So
They can't throw anymore.
I want to look to them real quick. The 2020,
Yeah.
the 2020, and 2019 to 2020 is what I'm looking for. I want to look at the year that Brady went to the Bucks. I'm gonna ask you a question. Let me
2020.
find.
That's the year
So,
he went to the
but yeah, it was the 2019 to 2020 season. So it'd be the 2019 to 2020 playoffs, where it was San Fran, Kansas City. So
Yep.
if Tom Brady did not go to the Buccaneers, he went to the 49ers instead. The 49ers are coming off a 31 to 20 loss where they almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
How many Super Bowls in the next 3 years, which would have been his 3 years career at the Buccaneers, does he win? All three, two of them, or just one of them? If he
I
went to
think
the,
two.
you think two of them?
I think they would have won this year. Maybe missed it last year. Because the Rams were just crazy last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then won it the year that he won with
But you got
Tampa.
to remember, the 49ers and Rams met in the championship game and almost beat the Rams. It's because Jimmy
They
Ward
did.
dropped an
I
interception.
just I really think the Rams pressure. If you want to know how to beat Tom Brady, it's pressure up the middle.
Yeah.
That's how you beat Tom Brady. It's up in his face, and they had Aaron Donald the best to ever do it up the middle. So there's arguments. I think Aaron Donald's the best to ever do it up the middle. You can
Yeah, D
have three guys
tackle.
on him
Yeah,
and it's just
I think it's a
fine.
good
Yeah,
chance. Yeah,
which
I
is
think it's
crazy.
a
I mean,
discussion.
Suggs, you could argue, and Warren Sapp and some of the others you could really argue over time. But our generation definitely the best. So going against Tom Brady, I think the Rams still would have won that game. So I think he would have had two instead of one. But they didn't want him.
Yeah.
It's come out that they did not want that was one of his choices. It was Miami, San Fran, and he was looking at Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay was not the leader in that. They were the third option. But Miami dropped the ball and San Fran said no, so he went to Tampa, which is crazy.
Yeah,
But
I think that was just an interesting question. So, like,
Mhm.
they were coming off a Super Bowl. The 49ers
Yep.
that year came off a Super Bowl loss. Should
Mhm.
like if they would have actually put the chips all if they cashed in,
Yep.
they could have had Tom Brady, multiple first round picks,
Yep.
all their guys still. Like I think they could have won. They might have won all three. I think that
and still
I think
could
that
have taken
Rams
a
game.
quarterback. Yeah, they still could have taken a quarterback when they took a quarterback.
Yeah, they could have still
They
traded
probably,
up and
they
gotten Trey
probably
Lance.
still, they probably still could have got Trey Lance.
Yeah,
No one was interested in Trey Lance besides the 49ers.
yeah, like they could have still gotten Trey Lance,
They
and they,
could have got Mac Jones, who is Tom Brady, but just a little bit less. And
yeah, like
it's just,
I think in let's say in 10 years, let's say 10 years from now, we're gonna look
mhm.
back at that Trey Lance trade and that offseason, and we're gonna say the 49ers could have won multiple Super Bowls with Tom Brady, but they
It
chose
could have been
Trey
a like
Lance.
it could have been another dynasty.
Yeah, it could have been a 3 to 4 year
He
dynasty.
could
Because
have been
I
part of
think
three
I
dynasties.
think he'd still be on the 49ers this upcoming season. Because you have Trent Williams at left tackle. You have a pretty good offensive line. It's not
And
too
here's
bad.
also the argument is like would his family have fallen apart the same way that it did? Because Giselle wanted to go to California.
And his
She wanted to be
family,
part of New York.
the Brady
Yeah,
family is in San Fran.
yeah. So I think
Interesting.
they made a big mistake by not going after Tom Brady
I completely
because
agree.
Tom wanted to go there. So,
If the
but
greatest of all time wants to come, like, this is gonna be the
they
dumbest thing I'm
wanted
about to
Jimmy
say.
G.
This is gonna
That
be
year they
some.
wanted Jimmy G.
This is gonna be something real dumb I'm about to say. Okay, so that
Yeah.
offseason, there was a report by Mary Kay Cabot, I believe, of the Browns beat writers,
Yeah.
where the Browns were one
Hmm.
of the teams that Tom Brady was interested in.
The Bears were interested. He was interested in the Bears too.
I do remember that report, but the Browns won. Here's what they said. Imagine a year where Baker sits behind Tom Brady. Baker could
Yeah.
really get into it. And I remember when
Hmm.
that report came out, I said, "Dear God, no. Dear God, I don't want Tom Brady. I don't want him at this point in his career." Because he was coming off that pick six where the Titans ended his season on a pick six. Like, I
Browns would
remember not
have won
wanting
that
him.
three. I think any team he would have went to, Miami, even the Bears, because the Bears, you got to remember that year that they were coming off of. They had that 12-4
Yep.
season. They had Matt Nagy. I don't think Matt Nagy failed as a Bears coach. I think Ryan Pace failed at quarterback, and we decided to ride it all the way through with Mitchell Trubisky, which was dumb. It was dumb. They chose Mitchell Trubisky over Tom Brady. That's what they did, and it was dumb.
Yeah. But
And the same with you. Like they chose Baker over Tom Brady.
no,
Like
I'm all good. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Nothing against Tom Brady. I'm happy where we're at right now.
you
Um,
would have a Super Bowl though.
what? No, we were not. No. We're not getting into this bat bowl crap.
100% have a
There's
Super
a
Bowl.
reason the Browns were not chosen. We're not winning a Super Bowl with that roster. That was that following season. It was Kevin Stefanski's first year where we go like 10-6. That was not a Super Bowl roster. That was not a
No.
Super Bowl roster. So like when we lost to the Chiefs in the following offseason, that when we lost to the Chiefs, that was our peak. Was the divisional round, and I'm all
No,
good. I'm all good knowing that.
and Tom Brady would have still been on that roster, and you probably arguably would have won that game with Tom Brady.
Nah, I'm sorry. I don't believe that roster was not good enough. Our best receiver was broken down Jarvis Landry, ACL torn Odell Beckham, and DPJ. That was not a Super Bowl roster. So the fact that we got to the divisional round is why I love Kevin Stefanski so much, because
It's good coach.
he helped us. But Nick
Yeah.
Chubb with Tom Brady is what I would have wanted to see.
I 100% think we would have won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's good to
Um,
think that.
I 100% think we would have because we had a really good running game. At the time, we had the best defense in the league, hands down. We
One
had
of them,
Khalil
yeah.
Mack. Yeah, it was just we were missing that guy that would have pushed us over the edge. And I think if we wanted to have made the Super Bowl, I think we definitely would have made a run. I think he made the right choice going to Tampa for the Chicago Bears or Browns or any of the other teams. So,
Yeah, but that's
but I
that's
think,
talking.
yeah,
Oh, you good? Finish your thought.
no, yeah, go ahead.
But
I'm done.
yeah, that's Tom Brady retiring. Good
Yep.
riddance. Maybe Patrick Mahomes next. Hopefully that's the next news that comes out is that he retires, because we're talking about the championship games. Let me pull up our text chat real quick. I wanna get my immediate thoughts. Here we go. So let's talk about the Eagles 49ers first, though. Let's save the hot one for last.
Okay.
49ers Eagles. Eagles won 31-7. God, I forgot it was such a high like.
It was a bit.
Yeah, I mean the 49ers with 39-year-old, 15-year journeyman Josh Johnson and a torn UCL Brock Purdy couldn't get
Yeah.
anything going. So, I mean, Christian McCaffrey didn't even have a bad game. He had an okay game,
No,
but yeah,
none of
this
the
is
49ers had a bad game. They just didn't have a quarterback. That's
And Fred Warner got hurt for he was hurt the second half. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it was a rough game. It was a rough game to watch. Eagles won. Good for them. They had a really easy path to the Super Bowl. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't really control when you're the number 1 seed. The point is that you get an
The
easy ride to
NFC
the
is a
Super
mess.
Bowl.
It's a complete mess right now. So
And again,
they had an easy ride, but Tom Brady had an easy ride a few years. I mean, Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls on an easy ride in the NFC. It's just, it
yeah,
is what it is. It's a 1 game playoff. Any team can win. That's
yeah.
the
What I will say is that Vegas, I hate you. I had before the game started, I put like $1 or two just for fun. Like, you know what? I think they're gonna run the ball like crazy. Miles Sanders 3 touchdowns. Why not? It was like $1,000 payout. I'm like, cool. That seems like an okay bet.
yeah.
1 touchdown. Okay, cool. 2 touchdown. Oh my god, I'm gonna win $1,000. Benched. Benched the entire fourth quarter. Why? No clue. Vegas, you are an evil person. I hope that it comes out that you guys are rigging games. I'll say it. I don't believe that NFL games are rigged, but I hope it comes out that they are because I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened.
I think that they could be offering money, but I don't think it can be rigged.
No,
There's just
it's not rigged. It's
there's
not
just
rigged.
there's just too many people involved that you would
Yeah.
have to pay off.
It's just
It's
like
just not.
when that happens, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. But yeah, it was a good game. I thought
It was, and you know what? The score didn't tell the story of the game, I don't think.
no.
It was a lot closer of a game than what it looked like. The fourth quarter, the 49ers were just they couldn't do anything. They
That
had no quarterback.
that Christian McCaffrey pass. So like when he first got it, I saw an angle. George Kittle was wide open, like for a
Yeah.
touchdown, wide open. But he
Yeah.
immediately had pressure on him, so he had to throw it away. Dude, let him throw that thing. Throw it to George Kittle, touchdown. Like,
I think they would have had way more competitive if they would have just put McCaffrey in instead of trying to fake him out with Brock Purdy.
yep, I agree.
Brock Purdy could not throw.
I agree.
He could not throw.
They
The
should've
one
been-
pass he made was a 3 or 4 yard pass to Christian McCaffrey, and it was wobbling.
Yeah.
The man could not throw.
Wait,
He has to have
it's a Tommy
surgery.
John injury. It's a Tommy John.
Yeah. And they're saying 6 months. No NFL quarterback has come back from that, or player has come back for that in less than a year. The amazing statistic for to come back in is 9 months. Like that's one of the fastest recovery times, and
Yeah.
it's mostly a MLB injury. That's usually what you.
Yeah, it was just a really weird hit
no fun.
in football. It was just a really weird hit.
It was, and so I wish the best
you
for him.
use that like that torque with your
Yeah.
shoulder when you're pitching. So it's really, and you don't use that angle when you're throwing the ball. So yeah, it's mostly baseball.
No. It's mostly baseball, and it's real sad because I think he would have been the favorite to be the starter next year.
We'll see.
I think well he won't be able to play now until at least midseason, if not
Maybe we'll see, man. I'm telling you.
if not
man.
at all next season.
Like
Yeah.
Cam Akers
So-
came back from a torn ACL in 3 months.
Yeah.
A torn
possible.
ACL
It's
in
just-
3 months.
Yeah, it's possible. It's just it's never been done before.
Yeah.
And it's not we think of these guys as superhuman, and they are in a lot of sense. But when a recovery time is never been done in less than 9 months by any other athlete, it's really hard to say 6 months.
Yeah.
Could I see him 9 months? Could I see him in 10? That would be awesome, and I really liked watching him this year. But I still don't think he is the answer. I don't think Trey Lance is the answer. I think 49ers need a quarterback, which is
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Tom Brady.
We'll have to see what
But-
they do this offseason with that quarterback. And honestly,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
great.
they need secondary members still. I like Diamador Lenore. I like Travarius Ward. You got to improve that
Mhm.
secondary a little bit more. You got the linebackers. You got the pass rush. Improve the secondary a little bit. But
They got draft picks. Not
Yeah,
a
they
lot,
do.
but they do have draft picks.
Yeah.
They'll pick up a few players.
Speaking of the other championship game, Chiefs Bengals Chiefs Bengals, and then refs wearing Chiefs red. Sorry, let me rephrase who was playing. I love that game. Wow, what a biased game. I'll say it. What a biased game. I'm still angry about it. I let me pull
Yeah.
let me pull the text. So during the game we were talking, just trying, just talking about what was happening. Let me see if I can get the exact. And we'll get a chance to play this. There it is. There it is. Okay, I found it. Time of sport. That's the NFC game. There's the time jump I was looking for. So you when Jamar Chase made that catch, you texted me that was the best catch you've ever seen. And then, and then that 5 minutes later, Apple gonna cost them the game. I'm like, yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. But my immediate refs are so biased. What a joke of a call. If this win this game, it's gonna be so unwarranted. Where's the one I went off though? Dude, this game, I'm done. This is so rigged. I hate saying that, but come on.
I don't remember what play that was though.
Oh, I'm sure I'll rewatch that game eventually. I'll see. Like that's the play that broke the back. I'm done with Patrick Mahomes.
And then rewatching them, they were all plays. Most of them. There were some egregious calls. I will say that it was definitely in KC's favor, and that's gonna happen in an NFL game. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that are really, really, really like NFL's rigged. It's 100%. No, that there was 100% calls that could have been and could not have been called, and it happened to fly in the way of the Kansas City.
Which happens all the time.
It happens very often, but Al Davis, the former Raiders owner and GM and coach, famously said to his players, "If it's up to the refs, we will never win," because he knew the refs hated the Raiders. So his saying was, if we can't beat them by 2 scores, we don't deserve to win because we won't win. And so ultimately, Kansas City, they didn't play a good enough game. So if you are a team and you're blaming the refs at the end of the game, you don't deserve to win. I'm sorry. If you deserve to be in that game and you deserve to win, I think Kansas City was the better team and they won the game. But did they help by the refs? 100%. But what a lot of people are upset about was the last play where Patrick Mahomes runs and he's pushed out of bounds. The NFL rule is if a player has one, there was no holding.
Yeah, there was no holding.
There was no holding. Yeah, but people are even in an argument of whether it was unnecessary roughness. And the rule is
that was 100% unnecessary roughness.
100%. Even 100%. Okay, they're like Patrick Mahomes might have played it up, and it was like even if he did, 1 foot out of bounds is giving yourself up. He should have pulled off, and he did.
Plus, his entire body language changed. It completely changed his body language. He was like, "Okay, I'm out of bounds." 100% unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, 100%. And then the holding calls, they could have been called.
Like on that play you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
No, those are all 100% legal blocks. That is one call I'm seeing on Twitter. 100% legal. 100% legal.
100% legal, and it was just that was the game that a lot of people are really upset about. There was calls that you could 100% pull out of that game that weren't those that went the Kansas City Chiefs' way.
Yeah, that pass interference, that where the was it? I think it was Eli Apple. It was Eli Apple on one arm. He doesn't turn. Oh my god, that's what I'm saying. Like Eli Apple, sure, he's not the best guy in the world, but like he doesn't commit egregious fouls like that all the time. That's one thing I'll always give him. He's very methodical with. He doesn't get holding calls. He doesn't get pass interference.
That was the play that I think cost them the game more than anything. They didn't score.
It was the 4 third downs.
They didn't score. They didn't score. But the play before that, where they said, "Oh yeah, we blowed our whistle." Nobody in the booth, nobody on the sideline, no one anywhere was like, "Nah, we didn't hear a whistle, man."
Yeah, the 4 third down attempts.
Yeah, and they got to replay third down.
And then they didn't get it again. They didn't get it again after that. Don't forget, they didn't get it again after that.
Yeah. And so Cincinnati got the ball back. And then the other play a lot of people are upset about is there was one rush that Joe Burrow throws, and then he's pushed down to the ground. It was not 2 steps, first of all. I watched it. It wasn't 2 steps, and that's the rule. You cannot touch the quarterback after 2 steps. It wasn't 2 steps. And Joe Burrow played his best soccer player and threw himself on the ground. The guy barely makes contact with him, and he's like, "Whoa!" It wasn't. And then the intentional grounding.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's bullcrap. That was complete bullcrap. Samaje P. You can literally see on the camera. Samaje P. Ryan's here. The ball lands here. Intentional grounding. He's 2 feet from the ball.
Okay, here's the thing. I will argue with this point. That ball was not catchable.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It
That's
has to
not
be
the
a
rule. That's not the rule.
reasonable
That's not
catch.
the rule.
It has
It's
to
not
be
the
a
rule.
reasonable.
It's not the rule.
That
That's
is
not the rule.
I
That's
looked
not the
up the
rule.
rule. The
Mike
rule- the
Pereira
rule-
even said that's a bad call. Mike Pereira said that.
It was a bad call. I agree, but
It doesn't
not.
matter if it's catchable. It doesn't matter. It has to be in the vicinity of a receiver. It was 2
They
feet
can
from his feet.
reasonably catch the ball.
Nope.
They can
I'm pulling
reasonably catch the ball. He
I'm pulling the
can
play up.
pull it up right now. I'm telling you right now, that ball. I don't care if it was Jerry Rice out there on that field. He is not
grounding
catching that ball.
Rule. I'm trying to find I want to find that clip.
It says you are right. It's an eligible receiver that could have logistically made the catch. He could not have made that catch.
I'm telling
Joe
you,
Burrow
man.
threw that in the dirt.
I'm telling you, man. When Mike Pereira says something, I believe it.
No, I agree with Mike Pereira a lot. I just think that was intentional grounding, and we just were upset because a lot of the other calls were bad. But that was 100% intentional grounding.
No, it wasn't. Like no. Okay. No. I'll say like he intentionally threw it at the ground. I'm all for that. Yeah. But watch any single game that happens. Every single quarterback does that because they throw it at a receiver's feet. That's what they do. That's what they're taught to do.
I think
threw it at his feet.
I think knowing what you know that the refs are leaning towards Kansas City's side.
Just throw it away. I'm for it. Just throw it 50 yards and out of bounds.
Throw it. Yeah. It did the refs. Was it a bad call? Yeah, maybe you can make that argument. But if you're getting pressured, get outside, get left, get right, or just throw it down the field, throw it to a wide receiver that's not going to be able to catch it, but you know for a fact that it's not going to be called incomplete pass because intentional grounding is never called if it's a 40-yard pass down the field. It's just not. It's
it has to pass the line of scrimmage.
Short dunk pass that is always called. And so it just Kansas City, I think, was the better team. Patrick Mahomes had a crazy game. Is it sad that the Bengals kind of got screwed out of a win? Yeah, but I think Kansas City still deserves to be in that Super Bowl. That's my opinion on it. I know that's not a very popular opinion right now, but I think Kansas City should still be in the Super Bowl. Regardless of how that ended up playing out, they ultimately won the game, and I think they deserved it.
Who did you have going to the Super Bowl again before the playoffs started? Oh, that sounds about right. Who did I have going to the Super Bowl? I don't remember.
You had the Bengals.
Okay, cool. As soon as I said, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember who I had.
So I think both of us are a little bit biased towards the team we wanted to win.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter. They're saying that you can't be why is this not focusing? You can't be a Browns fan and root for the Bengals in the playoffs. Who am I rooting for then? I'm not rooting for the Chiefs. I'm not rooting for the Jaguars. I'm gonna root for the team that's also in Ohio.
I'm rooting for Matt Nagy.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Matt Nagy. All right. No, I'm rooting for the team that's in my division, who is a likable team, who has a lot of guys that I like.
Joe Burrow is also a Christian quarterback, and he's got a really cool story.
Every quarterback is a
It
Christian.
doesn't matter. It's just he's got a really cool story. Like I'm just saying, he's a very likable person. Is what I'm saying.
But I like Jamar Chase. I like T. Higgins. Every time that I like a player in a draft, guess where they get drafted to? The Cincinnati Bengals. All right. I liked Jermaine Pratt and I liked Logan Wilson. Guess where they went? The Cincinnati Bengals. I gotta like them.
Good team.
Yeah,
it's a good team.
They did a good job drafting the last 5 or 6 years. Every time I say, you know what? I like that player. I like his attitude. I like, he's a good player. Cincinnati Bengals select Jermaine Pratt. Like, okay, I gotta like him now. That's what happens. I'm not gonna stop liking them.
Yeah, they got a good drafting scouting team.
Yeah, like they're on par with the Ravens now in drafting because the Ravens have always been the best drafting team. The Bengals are really getting there. They're doing a very good job these last couple of drafts. Yeah. Dax Hill, another guy out of Michigan. I thought Dax Hill was really good last year. He's on their team. I like Dax Hill.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate that the way you can't like because they're in the division. We have to hate them, dude. We're not even in the playoffs. We didn't even have a winning record. We had a losing record.
I will never root for the Packers, but that's the one team I was slightly rooting the Lions to get in. I was voting for the Vikings to get like through and actually beat a few people.
But the
But
Packers,
yeah,
you
no, the
wouldn't.
Packers definitely.
Yeah, no, that's me with the Ravens and Steelers. I don't. The Steelers, dude. I never want them in the playoffs again. But the Ravens,
But no,
I
I
like
don't agree
Lamar.
with the sentiment that you can never vote for a divisional team.
Yeah,
If even in the Green Bay, I liked them more when they had dear Lord, his Brett Favre for all those years. Brett Favre was a very likable person. I hate Aaron Rodgers with a burning passion. He is a snobby brat of a child that does not deserve to be in the NFL anymore.
no,
But still,
yeah, for me, your Packers is my Steelers. Like
yeah,
the Vikings are probably the Ravens, where I don't like them, but I like guys on their team. You like Justin Jefferson. I love Lamar. I love
yeah,
David Ajabo. I love Adafe Owe. But then the Lions for you are the Bengals for me. They're a team that sucked for a long time. They're getting good right now. I love the
mm-hmm.
Bengals when I don't face them. When I face them, they're dead. They're dead to me. But
Yep.
when they're in the playoffs and they're in the championship game against the
It's just,
god darn Chiefs, I'm rooting for the Bengals.
yeah.
I will never like the Chiefs because of 2020. I will never ever like them. But so when
It's hard not to like them, man.
if the
I really
if the
Travis
Steelers
Kelce calling out the mayor of
that's different.
Cincinnati for making all that was
That's different.
amazing.
He's from Cleveland. That's different. He's from Cleveland. I can like Travis Kelce. That's completely different. I don't like Juju. I hate Juju.
Okay. Juju's
So
annoying.
yeah, and he's on the Chiefs. So I get that's
Yeah.
another reason to hate the Chiefs. I hate Juju because he's freaking Corvette hopping in there. Like shut up, dude. No, he did that on the Browns logo. I don't like Juju. That's like if Ben Roethlisberger came out of retirement and played for the
Yeah.
Chiefs. Another reason I would hate them. Like I don't like the Chiefs. So any team the Chiefs play against, I'm rooting for the other team.
Yeah.
So like that's that. The Chiefs are my Patriots. They're my enemy because I hate them. I like Patrick Mahomes outside of football. The minute he's in a uniform, I don't like him. Chad Henne, Chad Henne could get it, dude. If he ever steps foot in Cleveland, he could get. If he steps foot in South Bend, I will get him. He's done. He's dead to me.
Yeah. No, I get it. No,
Anyway,
it was a good. I think the teams that should have made the Super Bowl made the Super Bowl. You don't agree. You think the Bengals made it, but
no,
that's
I think the
a
Chiefs.
different.
I think the Chiefs played better that game. I think that.
No, I think Mahomes solidified his leg. I think he's a Hall of Famer now.
Yeah, no,
Like
100%.
just like 100%. He's the face of the league now. Like he was playing on one leg and outplayed Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Like that, and Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the league, but he outplayed Joe Burrow on one leg and led like he's crazy.
No,
Like it's not even.
I'm all
He's playing chess
for.
when everyone's playing checkers. It's just
Yeah, I'm
it's
all
crazy.
for. I'm all for the Chiefs making it. I think they played better that game.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean that the Bengals should not have won. That's what I'm saying. I think the Bengals did not
that's
play
a
as
fair that's a fair statement.
yeah,
Yeah,
the Bengals did not play as good as the Chiefs. But that
no.
does not mean that the Bengals should have lost. The Bengals had
They couldn't
many
stop the pass rush.
yeah,
That was
exactly.
my whole point with a lot of that's why I said it would be a complete blowout if the 49ers and Bengals played because the 49ers have definitely a better rush than the Kansas City has, and they couldn't stop Kansas City's rush. It's just they have no offensive line right now. They're all hurt. So it's unfortunate that that's the reason why they lost it, but they could not stop the rush. Joe Burrow had no time to throw.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that's our reactions to the championship games. I don't want to. I'm gonna have like high blood pressure after this episode because I hate talking about the Chiefs. But
I know.
moving on, we got Saquon Barkley. So Saquon obviously is not in the playoffs anymore. He is a free agent coming into this offseason. Probably the best running back free agents. I mean, there's a lot of good guys, but like Josh Jacobs is not as good as Saquon. Miles Sanders, David Montgomery. Saquon's on a different level. There's rumors that he wants to go back to the Giants, and he said, I believe on their last game, he was interviewed, do you want to come back? He said, I want to retire a Giant. But running backs are pretty useless now, which I disagree with, but the NFL thinks they're useless.
I don't think they're useless. I think second contracts are useless with running back.
And that's why he's going to a second contract. Where do you predict he's going to play the next 3 or 4 years of his career?
I think he'll make a team-friendly deal with the Giants.
You think so?
I really do. I don't think that they can sign him for the 10 11 that he could make on the free agency market a year. Um, but I think he won't take a complete pay cut, but with some incentives and stuff. The thing what a lot of people don't realize is the fact that New York is one of the best media outlets and like advertising markets. He can make up what he doesn't make in contracts. If he goes and plays like I don't even know of a running back needy team right now. Off the top of my head.
I had the team where I think he's gonna go. So I'll wait. I'll let you
Yeah,
finish this. But I do.
go
I
ahead.
do.
Go ahead and say that.
Buffalo Bills.
Uh,
Buffalo Bills.
yeah.
It's the
Oh yeah,
Bills.
100%.
It's
I
it,
could see that too.
It's the Bills and
Yeah.
Giants for me for Saquon.
hmm But it's just even if you went to Buffalo, Buffalo's still in New York, but there's something about playing for like the blue and red and being a New York Giant, and they're up and coming. They need a quarterback. Please don't sign Daniel Jones back. Anyone besides Daniel Jones. And they're a Super Bowl contender. Like that, they proved that they're that good of a young team, and they got some cap space. Like they got to sign some key players, but um, I think Saquon ends up signing a $7 million a year, $8 million a year contract, which is still going to hurt their cap space. They're not going to be able to go get some of the top free agencies, but they made the playoffs with Daniel Jones this year, so I think that they will still be very competitive this offseason. They got 44 million cap.
Yeah.
So it's tight, but starting next year they got 179,000
That is insane.
179,000.
That's insane.
Yeah.
179. That's insane.
Yep.
That's
So
80,000. That's 80 mil more than the Bears currently have. That
yeah.
is insane. That's an insane number.
Mm-hmm.
But
It is.
yeah, I think Saquon is not coming back to the Giants for one simple reason.
Okay.
I think that's so this past season he made 7.2. That was his cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
Going into 2023, let's just say he made 7-8 mil.
Mm-hmm.
That would only be number 10. He would be at number 10 in running back money. Do you think Saquon
Doesn't care that much about money though?
I think he does because he's a running back and he knows his positional value is not as high. Get your money while you can. Do you think Saquon? Let me name some of the guys higher than him. Would you rather have Alvin Kamara or Saquon Barkley? Kamara or Wow, I cannot say his name. Alvin Kamara or Saquon
Yeah,
Barkley?
Alvin Kamara. They both had injuries, history. Kamara's a little bit younger, isn't he? Or has he
No,
been
he's
in the
older.
league?
He's older. He's like 28.
He's older.
Saquon's like 25, 26.
Okay.
So it's not that
Yeah,
much
then
difference.
I'd go with Saquon. If he can stay healthy, I would go with Saquon on that one.
Where do you think Alvin is in the top running back money, and how much do you think he's making a year?
He's probably 9.
He is number 4 at $16 million next year. Would you take
That's a lot.
Saquon? Would you take Saquon over James Conner?
100%, yeah.
How much is James Conner making, do you think?
I know he had a massive contract that he came off of.
But
so
what do you think? What do you think the first year of his contract is?
I think it was close to like 20, 23.
No, he's only at 10. He was at 10.5.
He was
Maybe
at
later,
10.5.
maybe later in the contract it's that high, but he
I
did
know
sign a massive contract.
A
Oh,
massive
Cardinals.
deal, and didn't deserve it.
No, not at all. Now, here's what I'm gonna get you. Aaron Jones or Saquon Barkley?
Saquon.
How much is Aaron Jones making?
This is the last year of his contract, so it's probably up there.
20 million.
Yep.
The only guys who I think are better than Saquon are Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, and I think I'm gonna say Christian McCaffrey, but I think I think that's a debate. Saquon's at minimum 4. Yeah, Josh Jacobs. I like Josh Jacobs. He's at minimum. He also 4.
Let me leave.
Yeah, he's at minimum 4. In my opinion, I think Josh Jacobs is in the top 10.
I would put Josh Jacobs and put him at 5.
Okay,
that's the
so 4
only,
or 5.
that's,
4 or 5.
Yeah,
that would mean he's making $15 million a year if he's at the 5th position. Nick Chubb is at 14.8. Alvin Kamara at 16. Derrick Henry at 16.3. Zeke at 16.7, and Aaron Jones at 20. Saquon, I think, is making 15 to 18.
Yep, 100%. Let's say his agent, they agree to an 8 year.
What the
I'm
what the?
sorry, not an 8 year. No, not an 8 year or 8 mil a year
Okay,
type of
okay.
deal.
He's not
Okay,
taking it. He's not taking it.
he's not doing that. He's probably staying, maybe, but then goes out and finds him a $3 or $4 million advertising gig. That makes up the rest. He stays. I think that's what's going to happen. That's how a lot of teams end up making a lot of players stay, is because that's why Dallas has always got a really good roster. That's why Tampa and all these other rosters always have big contracts, is because one, they have no tax, or they have really good advertising. Like Dallas is America's team. Like that's just, so I think you could very easily find a 2 million, 3 mil contract with the advertising agency, and he can stay in New York. And I think he wants to stay in New York. Is
I
there going to be an offer that makes him the top paid running back? I don't think there will be because of his injury history.
also 20 mil is insane to pay a running back. Ain't no way
It-
he's getting. No one
well,
is getting 20 mil.
okay, reasonably
Yeah.
paid.
16.
Like if
16's at Derrick
16,
Henry.
16,
16's Derrick Henry. Let's start.
I don't
Zeke
think
and
he's
Aaron
worth
Jones are
that.
overpaid.
I don't think he's worth that. I think talent wise, he's the number 5 or number 4 running back in the league. But his health worries me. Like this is the first season he's been healthy in quite a few years. I need to see at least one more year for me to have confidence that he's going to be healthy down the stretch. Like it's been almost every year since he's been in the league that he's dealt with something. Which, it's a long season now, and running backs are very, very physical in the lineup. So I'm not saying that you should judge him too harshly. I just wouldn't be paying someone 16 mil, 15 mil a year that's been hurt every single season.
Yeah, I think he's not staying with the Giants because I think, like you're saying, I think the Giants won't overpay for him. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. I think they will give him a team friendly
You
deal.
want to know who will overpay for him? The Buffalo Bills, because they are done. They are
Yeah.
hearing Nick on sports stuff put Josh Allen at number 6, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being the one that's a year early. I think he's the 6th best quarterback right now. Not talent wise, but actually playing. Want to know what's gonna make him back to number 2 quarterback? Get him a run game. And who is the best running back in the free agent market? Who can catch the ball and run the ball like none other? It's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Like I
It would
think,
be a great landing spot.
yeah.
It definitely, like, and I don't
And he
think they
stays in
would
New
have
York,
to
like you said.
overpay for him.
He doesn't have to
That's
move.
the thing.
He doesn't got to move.
I don't. Yeah, it's not that far. No, and I don't think you. I think they would overpay for him, but I think they could get away with 10, 12 mil. I don't
No,
think they
dude,
would
I
have to
don't.
pay him the 15
I don't think you
because
I don't think you
they are
realize,
Super
man.
Bowl.
You don't realize
I don't
he's
think.
gonna have to get overpaid. If the New York Giants said Saquon 8 mil a year plus a
Yeah,
$3 to $4 million, we're the ones advertising for you, so it's
yeah.
12 mil value. The
Mm.
the Bills to pull him away, it's gonna have to be a 4-year, 15 to
Does
16 mil,
The question
75%
is, does
guaranteed.
he believe in Brian Dable? Does he believe in that their current direction?
But Brian Dable
What are
doesn't
the
like running
Bills?
backs. He doesn't like running backs. We
Yeah,
saw.
that's the question, is where what he was still one of the number 1 running backs this year, so he likes them a little bit. Um, but the thing is, with him going to Bills, my argument would be I don't think they would have to pay him that much because they are a player away. If they had a running back, I think they could have run the table this year.
I agree.
So that's where, hey, do you want Super Bowls or do you want money? That's the two that people debate. Those are the two.
You
Those
can
are the
get
two biggest
you can get
keys.
both of the Bills. You can get both of the Bills.
Yep. And I think that's a really good pick. But
Nowhere else. Nowhere
I
else. I
think
think
he
he's
stays
going.
in the Giants.
Yeah. Nowhere else. I think
I
he's
think he
going.
gets retired. No.
Yeah. If he stays with the Giants, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be mad. I think that those are the two landing spots for Saquon. Return to the Giants. Try and win a Super Bowl with the Giants,
Mm-hmm.
or go to the Bills, get a Super Bowl, hopefully, and still be a top running
Yeah.
back with the receiving option, because he'd immediately be the 3rd best receiver on their team. That's that's
Mm-hmm.
we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I don't like the
Yeah.
Bills' receiving weapons. I think Saquon would immediately be the 3rd best receiving option, maybe the 2nd, depending on how Gabe Davis wants to catch the ball. At worst, he's the 3rd best option. That
No,
means
I think he'd be the second.
lots of
If
running
healthy, I think
ability,
he'd be the second.
lots of
Mm-hmm.
rushing, lots of receiving. He's gonna get 2,000 all-purpose yards with the Bills. I'm telling you, dude. know what? I'll
That's a good
I'll
pick. That's a
I'll
good pick.
I'll buy you dinner. I'm putting a dinner on the. I will buy you lunch
I'm
or
just taking
dinner.
that bet.
Yeah, I will buy you a lunch or a dinner before free agency even opens. There will be a deal, Saquon to the Bills for at least 4 years.
Sign and trade.
Yeah, yeah, no, not a
You
sign
think
and
a
trade.
sign
I'm
and
saying
trade?
like you know how like when you enter free agency, there's already like a minute in.
Mhm.
There's 10 deals that are done already.
Yeah.
I will put a lunch on it. That Saquon and the Bills already have a deal done. So 5 minutes in the free agency, it's already a done deal. 3 or 4 years, 75% guaranteed. He's going to the Bills.
Not a bad. It's not a bad pick.
That's
I'm
my
not taking that bet. I think that's a very good landing spot for
yeah.
him.
It's them or the Giants. It's them or the Giants.
I think that's it. It depends. Do you want Super Bowls or do you want money? And like the Bills offer both, but New York is very nostalgic. He really does like New York. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to move. He likes his teammates. He likes the coach. He likes like it's just
The thing
I
is, in
think
10 years, will he regret not going to the Bills? I think he would. If in 10 years' time, I don't think the Giants are a
honestly,
Super Bowl
here's
team.
the thing. In 10 years' time, how many Super Bowls do you think the Bills are honestly gonna have?
That's a topic coming up. We can't talk about
One,
that. We can't. Wait, hey, hey,
one,
hey.
two, maybe.
Two more.
The
Hey,
New
we're
York
two
Giants.
topics away. We're 2 topics away, man. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. It just
Okay. All right.
we'll table that question. We'll bring it right back up in two
All
topics.
right.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's the Giants or the Bills. If he goes back to the Giants, it's
Mhm.
because of nostalgia. He loves the fans. He loves the building. He loves his
I think
teammates.
he will win if he stays with the Giants. I think the New York Giants will win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years.
Maybe. I
I
mean,
think with Brian Dable, he's too good of a coach that for them to not at least make a Super Bowl. Maybe not win one for to at least not make. I think the NFC North is too weak, or the NFC
East.
is just too weak to for them to not at least make a run. But we'll see.
Yeah. But that was our Saquon topic. Not a too long topic. Just
Oh, it's a fun little
seeing
thing
what
to
we can
throw in
do
there.
with him. One I'm very excited about. The cap space obviously goes up every
Mm-hmm.
year. The cap is now
Mm-hmm.
officially $224 million, up 16.6 from last year. So
Mm-hmm.
last offseason, a lot of big contracts were given out to wide receivers, to tight ends, to quarterbacks. One
Mm-hmm.
of them being like the Tyreek Hill was like I think 30 mil a year for a receiver. Devontae Adams got like a 29 mil a year. Deshaun Watson obviously 46 mil a year, 100% guaranteed. And Kyler
Mm-hmm.
Murray got a really big deal. I think he's number 2 in guaranteed money. With the
Yep.
cap constantly going up and these contracts written in stone, what do you
Mm-hmm.
think with all this gambling hitting the NFL, with all these new
Yep.
TV deals making the cap go up 16 mil a
Mm-hmm.
year, maybe even
Yeah.
more? It might be go up more eventually. These are big
Mm-hmm.
contracts that everyone frowned upon immediately. Let's
Yep.
say 2, 3 years from now, how do you think these are going to look? These big contracts that were given out last offseason.
Um, I think they'll look okay. The thing is the reason why the cap goes up every year is because the NFL's revenue goes up every year. Um, I think when Roger Goodell retires or is replaced, I think that stops being a thing for a few years. I don't think it'll be immediate. I think people take advantage of Roger Goodell and what he does for the NFL. The man is really good at his job. So we went from a like $6 billion industry roughly to like multi-billion-dollar in multiple countries and multiple spaces. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be crazy. I think in the next few years we'll see a different, but I still don't like the idea of paying anyone besides the quarterback more than $20 million unless it's a pass rusher. That's just our offensive lineman. I think skill players you can find you can't find the guy in free agency as much, but I think you can find a few other pieces. And I think you see a lot of guys getting more money than what they deserve out of desperation. And I don't think a team that's desperate should ever pay 12, 15. That's not
Christian Kirk.
very defensive. Yeah. It's just that was 100% a desperation move
Which,
by the
let's be
Jaguars.
honest here,
But he played really good.
it worked.
He
It
played,
worked. We'll still dog him on it, but it worked somehow. So,
yeah. It's just I don't think he deserved the contract that he got.
yeah.
It was just like I don't know. That's just my opinion. There's a lot of people that like get paid a lot of money, and it's I eventually I think the NFL Moneybag is going to run a little bit more dry. I think we're still going to be a major industry, but this extended growth is unheard of. Like, it's just we're in a golden era of money, and eventually the money tree is going to stop producing. But maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and it continues grossing for the next 30, 40, 50 years, and we're still talking about it in the next 50 years. I just don't think it continues growing as much, but I don't think that happens in the next few years. So I don't think these contracts are egregious, any of them that we've seen. So yeah,
Yeah,
long-winded answer there, but yeah, go ahead and
I
finish your.
I think that's when you give out big contracts, you
Yeah.
like I think the front offices know way more than we do. I think they know a year ahead. Hey, here's what we think it's gonna go up. It's go up about
Well, they know
15.
analytics. They know like estimations of
Yeah,
what. Okay,
and
this
we
is how much
don't.
we're making. Yeah.
So I think they like when Deshaun like I'm gonna keep saying like I think Tyreek Hill's contract is insane, 30 mil a year. I think it's crazy, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a desperation, like you said. They needed a wide receiver. They wanted to change their offense. The
Yep.
Deshaun Watson one is what I was a little scared about when it was first given out. But anyway, I think Deshaun Watson's contract was egregious last year. 46 mil for over 5 years, completely guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Insane money. After 1 year, it's like he's making 30 mil a year. It's like it because I'm gonna immediately move that 16 mil to Deshaun Watson's contract. It's
Mm-hmm.
like he's making 30 mil a year. Next year, it will be like he was making 15 mil when we first signed him. So I think,
If it grows that much, yeah.
yeah, but I don't think the betting has hit yet. I don't think like DraftKings or whatever MGM. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
officially hit. I'm gonna look up when does NFL bet money hit? Because I know there was some year that was supposed to eventually hit, like the
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
The platform, if you will.
whatever. But I know eventually it's
Yeah.
supposed to hit the cap where now gambling's
Yeah.
allowed. It's like $1 billion industry.
Mhm. In the next,
Plus,
I think it's 2 years, it's 20 or 48 states out of the 50 will have legalized gambling.
that's a,
That's
that's
where
a lot
that's
of
what it's.
money. That's a lot of money that the
Mhm.
NFL's gonna get. Plus, don't forget, this is a topic that like NBA. This is a very big
Yeah.
topic right now in the NBA. In 1987-86, teams were scoring 113 points a game.
Yeah.
Wanna know what happened? They added 4 teams to each conference.
Yep.
Scoring went right back down to 80, 90 points a game. So when people
Hmm.
say there's too much scoring, too much offense in the NBA, it's because there's only 30 teams for all this talent. So what
Yeah.
do? They spread. They add more teams,
Mhm.
so the more talent over more teams. The NFL is about to expand within the next
Oh, 100%.
5 years. Within the next
Hmm.
5 years, there'll
I
be
think
two to
that's
four
Roger
teams.
Goodell's like retirement plan,
Yep,
if you will. Like, I think that's his last thing that he wants to do as his legacy is to expand another 4 to 8 teams.
I completely agree. Yep.
Yep.
And when that does happen, that would increase even more cap space because it's
Hmm.
now 4 additional teams. That's more games you have to advertise. That's more games that are on CBS, Fox, ESPN.
That they all have to pay for.
Like you said as well, more games. They want 20
Hmm.
games. I don't think
100%.
it's I don't think it's gonna stop. I think it's gonna constantly go. There's gonna be a point where a quarterback is making 100 mil a year, just like the NBA right now. James Harden, I believe, is gonna make $60 million in a single season. Luka Doncic is gonna hit like 59.8 on his second
Which is just
contract.
astronomical numbers. Like,
Insanity.
yeah,
There
it's
is no
just,
stopping this growth.
but in all fairness, when you make, multi-million dollars in a single day on a game day, like when you're selling tickets and everything else,
Mhm.
not even concession, not any, just tickets, is just such a, like, it makes sense. But it's just crazy that it's this big of a industry, I should say.
And what I truly believe the NFL wants, they want football every single day of the week. Now, when I say that,
I
I
think
mean
one day break, but yes, I
no,
think they
no. I'm
want
being
almost
serious.
every
I'm
day.
being serious. They want
Yeah.
Sunday NFL, Monday NFL, Tuesday NFL, Wednesday NFL, Thursday
Yep.
NFL, Friday high school, Saturday
Hmm.
college. That's what the football world
Yeah.
wants. Now, do the fans
That's what the
want that
NFL
is
wants.
different.
Yeah.
But the NFL will never touch Fridays because that's when high school. They'll never touch Saturdays because of college. But they want football
Mhm.
5 days a week. and that's gonna
They
end up
will.
happening.
Here's the thing. They will stay complicit with college. I don't think they'll have games on Fridays just because they won't have the audience.
Exactly. And
That's where it
they
is.
won't have the audience with college either. They won't. They won't touch those 2 days.
They can compete with college. I don't think they'll compete
Dude,
as much with high school,
you gotta imagine
but
those. Do you know how crazy college fans are?
they are.
They will
And
not
it's
watch
just,
football over college. I'm telling you,
I
Fridays and
th-
Saturdays they
it's
won't touch.
starting. I think there was a flip in the last few years when Alabama just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning. That college fans have started to be like, okay, I'm kind of done. Like, we'll see. I don't know. I think if the NFL played bully ball and bullied, they could spread college out for a few days and they could have games on Saturday. Um, if they wanted, but I just don't think that they want to compete with it. Like they have a good relationship with the college. Like they don't want like them to bully ball and then all of a sudden, oh, there's another Europe league or there's another league now that we're going to send all of our players to.
And
That's just not.
I'm not saying it's gonna be NFL every day.
Yeah.
There will 100% be a Euro League within the next 10 years.
Mhm.
100% there'll be at least a 4 or 6 team league in Europe. Does that mean on Wednesdays it's not the NFL but it's the Euro League? Does that mean on Tuesdays it's also the Euro League? So Tuesday, Wednesdays Euro League, Thursdays football NFL, Friday, Saturday, Sunday NFL, Monday NFL, Tuesday, Wednesday
NFL
Euro
definitely
League.
wants an extra day, at least though.
Yeah.
100%. So I don't know what that day is. It's probably either Tuesday or Wednesday, um, over like Friday or Saturday, just because they don't want to compete with the other two football days. But um, I think they'll take over that one day and then they'll let the EuroLeague play on another. Because EuroLeague is not going to be, it's going to be 4, 6, 8 teams. Like it's not going to be huge, just
Yeah.
especially to start. So they can all play their games on the same day and not it be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm very excited within the next 10 years where football is going to go because one,
Yeah,
more
it's
content.
exciting.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
content. And two, I love football. I love watching football. I love the culture behind it. And the fact that it's now spreading to Europe because guess what
Yeah.
happens in Europe? Colonization happens. They're going to send that crap all around the world.
Yeah.
Like
We could
and
have Africa, Asia, like I mean, just like in NBA and
yep.
Middle East League. I mean, there's just I mean, it will continue spreading, and
Yeah, I'm very
players that
excited.
aren't good enough to like get a visa to come to America, but are still very talented. We could see us competing with some of. It's just not been available to some of these parties, so they choose basketball or they choose soccer.
Yeah.
But I think the NFL could very much start competing with those two sports for the best athletes around the world.
Yeah, I'll be very excited when we're in our 30s and 40s watching that cuz that's going to happen. And I think
It's gonna
that
be
with the cap space
two of us really wanting to go into broadcasting. It's really good for our careers too because there's going to be something to talk about.
yeah, and adding those Euro leagues, adding those additional teams,
Yeah,
additional leagues, more money. So I
more
think
money.
that going back to the original, we got a little off topic, but it's just a great topic to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
The cap space rising 16 mil this year. It's kind of a precursor of hey, we're this far into this league and
Yep.
we're still adding massive value a year to the cap
That's
space.
that's a whole Hall of Fame caliber talented player.
Yes.
That's 16 mil. That's a wide receiver that is catching 90 balls and 1,500 yards and 7 touchdowns. Like that's what that 16 mil
That's
is.
Fred Warner's
It's crazy.
contract. That's
Yeah.
Fred Warner's contract.
Yep.
It's
It's cool. I mean, I'm all for it.
insanity. Yeah, I'm all for that 16 mil going to another guy or multiple guys getting the chances to play in the NFL.
Mhm.
Like, cause that's
Yeah,
just more
it's
money
just
for players.
spread the wealth around. I think that's I think the reason why a lot of people see these numbers and they're so like, oh my gosh, is because of how much the wealth isn't spreaded around. Like they see all these contracts with these players, and it's still like even
There's
the
even more.
higher echelon of players, it's not even touching with the owners and some of the man.
Exactly.
Like it's
I am
just.
all for the owners getting less money and more money going to the players. Screw it.
I think a
Let's
lot
go
of the
30
owners
mil
are for that.
rise. Let's go to a
I
30
think a
mil.
lot of yeah. I think there should be a cap on what an owner makes. That's just my opinion, but
That's not gonna happen.
it's not going to happen because all 32 owners would have to vote in favor of it.
Yeah, but I think it's a fun topic.
It is.
Moving on, we got a topic that I told Aaron to not talk about for a minute. Young QBs that we don't think will win a Super Bowl. I wanted to stop him because I think Josh Allen should be the number one topic. The last 2 or 3 years, it's been Josh Allen. You got to win it. You got to win. You got to win.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
keep falling short. Is
Mhm.
Josh Allen ever going to get that Super Bowl?
I think he'll win one.
You think
I think it'll
he's going
be
to get
late.
one?
I don't think it'll be in the next few years. I think if he doesn't win it with the Bills, I think he pulls a Matthew Stafford and goes to an NFC team. If the NFC still stays weak like it is now, we might see a conference shifting in the next few years. We don't know. But I think he goes to where the weakness is and he goes to a weak division. And that's how he ends up going and winning one if he doesn't win one with the Bills. I don't think if I was taking over under of like one, I would take the under. Like I don't think he's winning 4 or 5 like we originally were starting to look at him as that next, you know, Peyton Manning or but we think about 7 that Brady only had 7 in 23 years.
Yeah.
Like oh wow, he had
He
7.
he
That's
also
7 in
had
23
he
years.
had 3 in his first 7 years and another
Yeah.
4 in his last 8 years. Like
hmm
there's a
Like
massive gap in the
Peyton
middle where
Manning,
he didn't go for
Peyton
10
Manning
years.
had 2. Brett Favre had 1. Drew Brees had 1. Dan Marino had none.
Rodgers had 1. Russ had 1.
Yeah, like it's just these are very people are like, oh yeah, he'll win 4. It's like you realize there's Joe Burrow has to get 1. Patrick Mahomes has to get more. Like there's just quarterbacks that Jalen Hurts is going to be a good up and coming quarterback. It looks like, Dak might win one if the Cowboys can figure it out. Like these are quarterbacks that it's going to spread the wealth around. They're gonna it's just the Bills. I think they'll win one. That's my opinion on it. But I think he will win one. To answer your question, if this young quarterback will win a Super Bowl, I think he gets one.
Yeah, I think one's the most. I don't think I if there was an over under at 1.5,
Yeah.
I might take the under. If there was an
Oh,
under, if there was an over under at 0.5, I might take the under. I think there's a chance
I
he doesn't
think
win
the
one.
over on that one.
I think there's a
I
chance he
think
doesn't
he
win
has a
one.
better chance of winning one than he has of chancing winning none. Just because how talented he truly is. If he had better support at running back and a few other positions, I think he'd be a super. If he had Andy Reid as a coach, he'd be in the same spot Patrick Mahomes is.
That's unfair. That's unfair.
That's
We're not bringing
that's
that up.
unfair. I'm just saying
Just,
that's where that's the NFL though. Like that's
yeah.
just I think he deserves one. That's his talent level. I think he's good enough to in a fluke year where there's injuries or something like that, or the ball tips one way. I think the Bills will win one with Josh Allen.
Okay. What about what do you feel about Joe Burrow? Do you think he can win multiple Super Bowls, or will he ever win one?
That's a tough one. Um, I think there needs to be a team after Kansas City when Andy Reid retires. I think Kansas City will return to power, but I think it might take a few years. I think Nagy's going to take over for Andy Reid. That's my early assumption. I think he's the one, and I think it takes him a few years to return to that same success level. So that being said, there has to be a team that goes out there and wins a few while Kansas City's on a few down strings. Um, and I think Cincinnati is the best team that's looking to do that. Like if in those years, if there's a 5 year window, like Kansas City can't win it every single year. And an NFC team can't win it every single year. Like Kansas City's not going to continue to make every for the next 10 years, they're not going to make every single AFC championship. You just can't. It's just eventually this will end. It's what a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of it. It's only been 5 years. And eventually this has to end. And I think the next team up would be the Bengals. They're just up and coming. They're hitting on every draft pick. It's just they got some young players to pay, yeah, but like if they're hitting on every draft pick, they don't need to pay those players. They're getting other guys. And so at that point, I think Joe Burrow at least wins one. I think he'll end up with 2 or 3 though.
Are they all with the Bengals, or does he go to another team, or is he a lifer?
I think he is the only quarterback on any of these lists that could be a lot. Like I even think Patrick Mahomes isn't untouchable.
Oh, he's
Like
untouchable.
I
He's
think
untouchable. He's a lifer.
I truly
He's a
I don't
lifer.
know. We thought Tom Brady was though, and then he went to the Tampa.
Yeah,
That's just like
yeah. You have a good point. You have a good point.
that's where like he's untouchable with Andy Reid. If they hire him a complete joke of a coach, you really think he's not going to be like, I'm going to go coach for another really good coach? We've seen him without good coordinating. We saw it in college, and we've even seen it in the NFL. He goes through these random spurts that Andy Reid always gets him out of. If he doesn't have that coach, though, I think he can leave. So that's where I think Joe Burrow is from Ohio. He has love in Ohio.
I agree
Like
with that.
that's where I think
I do very much agree with that. That you're right. Without Andy Reid, he's not untouchable because let's say it's 6 years from now, right? Andy Reid retires in 3 or 4 years. 6 years from
he's
now,
66 right now, 67.
he's done after this year. Anyway, let's just say, and let's say the next coach ruin like they have a terrible working relationship. They go 5-12, and like Brett Veach stays with that head coach, and Patrick Mahomes is like, I want him out. That's right. I think there's a chance that there could be.
I think it's a similar situation that the Lions had with Stafford. We have so much respect for you. Name your team. We'll send you there. If it ever happens like that, I would lean more towards him being staying with Kansas City. I'm just saying I think Joe Burrow is the only quarterback in
Yep,
this league that's untouchable.
I
I
agree.
think he will retire a Cincinnati Bengal.
Because he's
That's
yeah,
just
it's the Ohio story. I agree. 100%. I
it's
agree with you.
just that's where he loves it there. He loves the fans. He loves like he is Ohio born, Ohio raised. I think he will stay in Ohio even after retirement just because he was raised there. I don't know why anyone would want to stay in
Did,
Ohio, but
did you know that
that's just,
he still lives with his parents? I don't know if you knew that.
is he really?
So when he got drafted to the Bengals,
Yeah.
obviously, moved in with
Mm-hmm.
his parents, and there was an interview done before the championship game. They said, "Hey, we interview every year. Last year you were with your parents still. Are you still with your parents?" They said, "Oh yeah, but I finally took down the Star Wars posters." And I'm like, this guy is about to get
Oh,
paid 50 to 60 mil a year, and it's like, "Oh yeah, I just took down the Star Wars posters for my room." And everyone was obviously laughing, but it's like, no, I'm being serious, guys. I'm being serious. Like, I just took them down. It's like, this
hey, if you got
guy.
a good relationship, like if you're not married,
No, I mean, like he's still with
yeah,
his parents. He's saving all
yeah,
that. He's saving all that money. Like, good on you, man. Good on you.
that's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Joe Burrow has a good chance to be a lifer.
Hmm.
I still think that Mahomes is a lifer. I do believe that
I
because
do believe. Yeah,
I would, again, like you said, the over under, does he leave anytime in his career? I'm gonna say no. Um, I
no,
think.
yeah.
Give me a quick. I'm gonna think of every quarterback. Who do I think could be a lifer? Mahomes, Burrow, I think are lifers. I agree. I don't think Allen's a
Mhm.
lifer. I think he's gonna be gone by the end of his second contract. I agree
Trevor
with that.
Lawrence isn't a lifer. Jalen
No,
Hurts
God,
isn't a
no. That man
lifer.
is not a lifer. That man is not a lifer.
No,
Trevor Lawrence is not a lifer. Hurts,
Mac Jones isn't.
dude.
Um,
Hurts.
maybe Dak. I could see Dak.
I think Hurts is a
Um,
lifer. They're built like he was a second round pick. They gave up on a first overall pick, like a second overall pick for him.
I think he'll have a similar story to Donovan McNabb just because it's what the Eagles do. He'll play 10, 12 years and he'll be like 70, 80%. It's like Cam Newton where that running quarterback can no longer really run, but still has a decent arm. So then he goes and has a one-off season somewhere.
Uh,
Like I think his majority of his career will be in Philly, but I think he'll have a 1 year, 2 year backup because he doesn't want to give it up yet
yeah.
type of move.
Do you think Hurts? I'll name three. Just give you a quick yes no yes no.
Yep,
Lawrence, does he win a Super Bowl?
100%.
You think he does? Okay, I'd say
Yep.
no. I'd say no actually.
Uh, uh,
Is it with the Jags? I guess is it with the Jags?
I think he wins one with the Jags.
Okay,
I think in the next 5 years they will win one.
okay, okay.
I give them one,
I mean, that's one. Hey,
but
that's
I
one.
think
That's
they
one
win one.
man.
Yeah,
You can live 50 years with one Super Bowl. Let's be honest here.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah. Trevor. I think with their current coaching staff, I think their coaching staff is really good. They already have a coach that's already won a Super Bowl. They've already proved that they're a very grown-up team. He's proved that he's a grown-up. I think he's too talented to not win one.
yeah,
Um, I believe more in him winning one than Josh Allen. Like that's where I'm like, just because of the coaching.
mm,
That's where it's like you got to consider not just the talent. Is Josh Allen a better quarterback than him? Yeah, probably. But at the same time, you got to consider all the variables. So
yeah.
I think he'll win one.
Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Is he winning one?
I think since the NFC North is so weak, yeah.
East. NFC East.
No, I'm just the NFC. Like I said, North, but the
Entire
NFC.
NFC.
Yeah,
You think he's gonna
the
win one?
entire NFC. Like who's the quarter? Like who's the team next year besides the Eagles? Like 49ers have quarterback controversy. Like Green
Yeah.
Bay's talking about moving on from Aaron. Like all these other Dallas is like up and on. Like they just fired their offensive coordinator. Like Minnesota's not going to be good next year. They're not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm with you. I think he'll win one. It
I
might
think
be
he'll win one.
it might be next year. I mean, obviously it might be this year, but like if it's not this year, it might be next year he wins one.
I think it's already predestined that Chiefs are going to win this year. Like that's
Yeah,
just
I think there's a high chance that they will. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
it's Andy Reid returning to like I think it's already. I'm not saying the NFL's rigged. I
But
it's really hard for me to say the Chiefs are not going to win this game.
yeah, no, I'm with you.
But anyway, yeah, I think he wins one, even if it's not this year, maybe next year or another year. But yeah, I think he wins one.
Deshaun Watson,
I don't think he does.
Justin
I'm sorry.
Fields,
I'm
Justin
sorry. I
Fields.
think you guys paid him too much, and your team is getting older, and you got to deal with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And if Lamar resigns in your division,
Justin Fields. If you say
fine.
yes.
He was 100 yards
Oh
away
no
from
no no
being the
sorry.
top rusher.
Let me say the actual next Bears quarterback, Bryce Young. Sorry about that. Sorry, not Justin Fields. What a dumb
They
report
can't.
that was. What a
Like
dumb report that was. You don't think
the whole
Deshaun
city
Watson
of
could win one?
Chicago would just leave.
You
Like
don't think Deshaun Watson can win one in the next 5 years?
I don't listen. When I think of a Super Bowl quarterback, you got to take is if talent was what won Super Bowls, then Aaron Rodgers would have 10.
Mm-hmm.
He was undeniably one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
He's one of the best arms we've ever seen. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've seen play.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Aaron Rodgers probably two, and Tom Brady's
No,
just really good at game
yeah,
managing.
he's not in that.
Like it's just talent wise. If talent won Super Bowls, Aaron would have 10, 50. Like he would have a whole bunch just because he was the most talented. That being said, I think Deshaun's really talented. I don't think he has the leadership. I don't think he has the push, the drive. Like I think he might have before, but like barring everything that happened, like it's just we want to ignore that now and we want to move on and we want to just focus on football. It's really hard to do that when you're a guy next to him and you know all of the rumors. And it's I don't know if he can push him over the hump. I think Kevin Stefanski can. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win one. If I was taking the bet one or less, like it's the same thing we've done with all the other, I would take the under. Just the way I feel about it.
I
It's also the
think
Browns, and the Browns know how to roll really screw ups.
I think he will win one. I think it'll be
That's fair.
I think it'll be one of those Giants years where like it's everything
Mhm.
lined up. I think it'll be like, well, like we win one, the next year we miss the playoffs. Like, I think that's I think that's what's gonna happen is that we have
I
one
think he should have gone
really
to the
good
NFC.
year. What was that?
I think he should. Yeah, I think he should have gone to the NFC. If he wanted to win Super Bowls, he should have gone to the NFC.
Yeah,
He would have had a much easier path.
especially the NFC South. Like they were rumored, two
Mhm.
teams in the NFC
Mhm.
South. Yeah, but I think it'll be one really good year from the Browns. Whether that's
Yeah.
this year, the
Mhm.
following year, the following whatever. This will be one
Yeah.
really good year where we go 13-4,
I
win
don't
the
disagree
Super
with
Bowl, and the following year we'll go like 7-10 or 7 and
Yeah.
whatever. Immediately, just like
It
we
could be
suck
one of
again.
those offset years. Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I'll give my
Mhm.
firstborn's name, Deshaun Watson. If we
Oh
have
my
one,
God.
no. Let me explain exactly what it has to happen. We win the Super Bowl, and the next year we go below 500. Because I know that's the most Browns thing ever to happen.
You also have to find a wife that is okay with you, mate, naming your
I never said
child.
they don't gotta know. They don't gotta know. Just his name is Timothy. Then like, yo, his real name is right down the thing. Yeah, like I think that's what's gonna happen. Is we're gonna win a Super Bowl and then immediately go 7-10, and everyone gets fired the very next year. And I know it's gonna happen. I'm all for it because that 1 year we got, I'm gonna live off that for the rest of my life. But I think one's the max. I don't think we can win more than one in the next 5 years.
One's your max, and I would take the under with the one.
What about Justin Fields then, huh? Bucko? Within the next 5
I
to
think
10 years?
again, I think in the next 10 years, the NFC South is too bad for the Bears not to make the playoffs, or not even the playoffs, but a Super Bowl. I just think the NFC North and the NFC in general is just too weak of a division in a conference to not make a run at it. And I think he's too talented of a quarterback to not at least win one. I think one might be our max though as well.
No, yeah,
Like I'm not expecting a dynasty from the Bears. I think we'll get one. And I don't think it's with this coach. I think we need to fire this coach and get another coach. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I really don't think it's gonna be. I don't think we'll be able to get a dynasty. This right now,
No.
man. I'm so sick of every time Tom
If
Brady
I had to
retires.
bet,
Yay,
honestly, I
a
would
new
still take the
dynasty.
under.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like our chances more because we have our
Mhm.
coach, we have our defensive staff, like we have the Miles Garrett, we have the
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, we have the Joel Batonia,
Mhm.
we have the Amari Cooper DPJ, we have the
Yeah.
running back. Do we have the quarterback?
Mhm.
Is the question.
Yeah, it's tough.
You guys, you're currently in the beginnings of we have to get that pass rusher, get that
Mhm.
corner, get that
Which
receiver.
Kansas or not Kansas City, San Diego is in talks. Not even San Diego anymore. LA Chargers are in talks of moving on from Khalil Mack and releasing him, and we
Why?
got 90 million cap because they can save 22 million in cap space if they release
Well,
him.
didn't they trade you a second round pick for him?
100%, and they did 1 year with him and realized he's good but not great.
Even though what's his name, Joey Bosa was hurt the entire year. It's not even
Yeah,
his fault.
it wasn't. He's a good, very good player. I really
Wow.
want him back.
Could Khalil
That's
Mack return
100%
to
of
the
him.
Chicago Bears?
Yep.
He had 17 sacks. Oh no, that's tackles. My fault. My fault. He had 8 sacks. That's not a bad year. Oh my god. Hey, Cleveland Browns. Hey. If he gets cut, I'll
You're
take care
gonna
of
have to
Mac.
pay him 22 million.
You have to pay him 22 million. Shut up. No, we don't. We have to pay him 1 million, and we'll be like, hey, you get to win a Super Bowl with us because it's Nick from Sports Stuff said we're gonna win one in the next 5
He cares
years.
more. I don't think he cares about winning a Super Bowl. I think he cares more about money,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. We'll see.
He
We'll
signed with
see.
the Bears, man. He signed with the
No. He
Bears.
got traded. He got traded to the Bears. He got traded to the
He got
Bears.
and then signed an extension for the most highest paid player, defensive player of all time. He
Yeah,
cares more about money
but then he got traded to a team that's up and coming. So
because we get a second round draft pick from him.
yeah, whatever. But
He's not restructuring his deal.
he'll restructure
He's
for the
not
Cleveland
trying to
Browns.
stay with the up and coming team. He wants money.
He'll stay with the Cleveland Browns. So
We'll see.
anyway, moving on. NFL honor predictions. Let me get the full list of
We still
awards.
okay. We got three more young quarterbacks that could win. Let's hit them
Name
real
them
quick.
off. Name them off. Name them off.
Mac Jones, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Dak
Sorry, Mac.
Prescott, yes or no?
No.
I think he wins one.
No.
That's just my opinion. We'll talk about that a different day. Kenny Pickett, yes or no?
Not Lamar. You're gonna go with the worst? No.
Well, Lamar's not really a young quarterback anymore, but yeah, we'll
Neither
go
is
with Lamar.
Dak. Dak's like 30. Dak's like 35. Just...
Okay, you said young quarterbacks, but whatever. Kenny Pickett, no. I agree. Kyler Murray, I don't think so either.
no. It's gonna.
So
No. That'd be a late year. That'd be like a late career win. Maybe.
Daniel Jones
No. Backup. He could be a backup. He could be a
could
backup.
win one as a backup.
Go to
That is
Buffalo.
very
Go to
true.
Buffalo and sit. He could be a
Yep.
backup.
Davis Mills.
Yes. Journeyman. He'll be a backup. He'll be a
Yeah.
backup. He'll be a
Okay.
backup. Gardner
Yeah.
Minshew.
All right.
Yes, he's gonna be a backup.
Yep. All right. That's all the quarterbacks we
Baker
can run down.
Mayfield. No. Well, Baker could win one in the XFL. Who knows? He could win a championship in the XFL.
We said Super Bowl. He can't
We
win
don't
a
know
Super
what they're gonna call it. We don't know what they're gonna call it. They could be called the Super Bowl in the XFL. Who knows? But NFL honors.
Yeah.
Let me get the full list of the awards that actually matter.
Bowl. Mhm.
Here you go. Comeback Player of the Year. Who's your Comeback Player of the Year?
Saquon.
Saquon. Gene. Well, yeah, I'd say Saquon. I feel like you can't really count if they just didn't play good last year. Like
I think
you have
it's
to be
got to be
injured
a
and
comeback.
come back.
I think Dak could make an argument, but I think Saquon had the best comeback from injury, like that story. I think Saquon
I'll
is
go
the
with
guy.
Saquon as well. Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's only 2 options.
That's really good. I don't know. I don't know my pick. What's your pick?
Sauce Gardner. It's Sauce. It's absolutely
Yeah,
Sauce.
right. Yeah, I agree.
It's him or Tariq Woolen, but it's
Hmm.
Sauce. It's 100% gonna be Sauce.
Yeah.
Like it's his name. It's 100% gonna be Ahmad Sauce Gardner, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy. A Cincinnati player is gonna be winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, and who was my number one defensive player last year coming out of the draft was Sauce Gardner.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I would feel real good about that one.
Yep.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who you thinking? This is a little
Offensive rookie of
harder.
the year.
This is a little harder.
Yeah. I think it's Brock Purdy.
You
I
can't.
that
He hasn't had the amount of games needed. That's
he's
the.
no he's a finalist. He's been submitted as a finalist.
I thought it has to be at least 10 games in the NFL season.
He played 10 games. If
No,
you
he didn't. He
include the
played.
playoffs.
No, no. It's only.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, no, I think he played 10 games.
I mean,
He
if
was
they.
he's on the list as submitted
Yeah. No,
applicants.
no. He's a finalist. Yeah.
I think you gotta go with him because like their season was over, and then he came in and saved it.
I'm sorry. I
Like,
thought. I thought I read a report that he wasn't
the,
eligible because he had to have at
yeah,
least 10 games.
I think he was there. I think he was at that. But I mean, you could go Kenneth Walker, but like he didn't have that great of it. Maybe Garrett Wilson, but like I really like Brock Purdy this
It's
season.
Brock
Like he
Purdy.
had a
It's
great
Brock
season.
Purdy.
Yeah, I think it's Brock Purdy.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I know. I was gonna go Kenneth Walker from Seattle.
He had a great season.
It's
I just
Brock
think
Purdy though.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Brock Purdy.
I read a report that you had to have at least 10 games in the regular season,
I
and he
mean,
didn't play
also Aiden
10.
Hutchinson could have very well win defensive rookie. I forgot about him,
They didn't make the playoffs.
but it's got to be Sauce. It's got to be
He,
Sauce.
he did.
You're right.
Yes, the Jets didn't make the playoffs, but Sauce Gardner was like everywhere over his social media, and
Mhm.
like 100% he's gonna get the votes.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I just closed the page. Let me go back to it. Rookie of the year in general. Who's the rookie of the year? It's Brock Purdy. It's Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
It's
I
Brock
think
Purdy.
I think it's quarterbacks run
Yep.
those awards, and he had too good of a season to ignore,
He had too good of a
which is
season
crazy.
on top of being the
It's
Mr.
crazy.
Irrelevant.
Yep. Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant. He was the very last
Yeah, he
pick.
was Mr. Irrelevant. Oh yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant. You're right.
Yeah, he is winning NFL Rookie of the Year. If he doesn't win Offensive Rookie, it's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So,
There wasn't crazy like rookies this year that had like amazing seasons.
yeah.
Like there was a few that had really good seasons, but there wasn't like that one in previous seasons that was like, oh yeah, he's a shoe in.
Yeah.
So I think Brock can win it.
Defensive Player of the Year.
I think just because of recency bias and because a lot of people are real big on the Chiefs now, I think Chris Jones wins it.
Really? You think Chris Jones is going to win Defensive Player of the Year? That's.
Either him or Nick Bosa. Those are my two picks, but I think Chris Jones wins it.
I'm about to say. I think it's Nick Bosa. I think it's Nick Bosa. He had led the league in sacks. They made it to the NFC Championship game. He's. I don't know. I think it's gonna be him. I think it's gonna be him.
It could very well be him. I think the better story or like the more look at Chris, like he had a great, I mean he had 13 stacks. That's nothing to like cough at. Like that's a really good
Who? Chris
like season
Jones?
per se. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he had a good
And
season.
he had a really good season. So I think it'll be a close vote. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Bosa wins. My pick is Chris Jones though. I think he'll win it.
Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year. Who's your Offensive Player of the Year? I know who mine is. I actually wonder who you think yours is.
Mine's Justin Jefferson.
Okay, yeah,
like,
we agree. It's Jay Jettas. It's Jay
like,
Jettas.
like
Let me get his official stats. I want to get his official stats. Insane year. 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 128 catches.
he was 200 yards away from breaking the all-time record.
Yeah, and like
Alvin has 19.
he was the
like,
Vikings offense.
yeah.
He was their offense.
He's the reason they made the playoffs. 100%.
Yeah. No, I'm all for Jay Jettas. I think sadly it's gonna go to a quarterback. I know it's gonna happen, but he deserves. I think I would vote for him to.
Jalen Hurts is probably going to win it if I had to pick like an offensive player, just because Patrick Mahomes is probably going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
That's probably, and I mean, sorry to spoil everyone's heart. It's probably just what's going to happen. So I think Jalen Hurts might win that award, but I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Jefferson, just because he's a well-known name, he had a crazy season. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
I agree. I think it's gonna be Patrick
Tom
Mahomes.
Brady isn't a finalist?
No, dude, he's not a finalist. I'm telling you, man.
What kind of bull crap is that?
I th- I think it's gonna be a quarterback who wins Offensive Player of the Year, but my vote is Justin Jefferson. But my vote for MVP
Bull
is also
crap.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, we're doing MVP now.
Yeah, who's your
I
MVP?
think Patrick Mahomes will win. I think Patrick Mahomes will win. Tom Brady should win that award though.
Dude, without a top
If we're
receiver,
talking most valuable,
without a top wide receiver, he put up historic numbers. Most yards by a quarterback
okay, he had
ever.
Travis Kelsey. I don't want to hear it. He had Travis Kelsey. I don't want to hear it.
With
That Tom Brady did that
no
multiple years.
wide receiver, no run
He had
game.
pictures. It's fine.
With barely a run game. Isaiah Pacheco's good, but without a top run game,
Okay.
without without a Pro Bowl wide receiver,
Patrick Mahomes is gonna win like 10 MVPs. He doesn't
without
need this
a
one. Give it to Tom Brady.
without a Pro
I'm out the
Bowl
door.
without a Pro Bowl wide receiver or an All Pro wide receiver, without a Pro Bowl running back or a all whatever Pro Bowl wide receiver or All Pro.
Okay, well, since he's not even a finalist, out of the 5 finalists
It's
that I
Mahomes.
see here,
It's Mahomes.
it's Mahomes. Yeah, it's Mahomes.
Yes, I'm all for giving him Travis Kelsey. I'm all for it. Like amazing.
Yeah.
No Pro Bowl or All Pro wide
Out
receiver.
of this list,
no
I think
Pro
Joe
Bowl,
Burrow
All-Pro
had
running
it.
back.
I think Joe Burrow had very competitive arguments up until like the last 3 weeks.
I agree.
And then Patrick just solidified. Like Justin Jefferson would have had to break the record to win it.
Yep. I agree.
And then I think he would have won it if he broke the record.
Oh, 100%.
I think I think he's the wide receiver that could have done it.
If he
just
cracked
because of who the
2,000
quarterback
yards,
was.
if he cracked 2,000 yards, he's
I
winning
think that's the only
MVP.
way. Yeah, I think that's well. If he passes Calvin Johnson in yards, I think that's just where like, oh, like holy crap, like
Well,
that's
isn't
that's
that basically
crazy.
hitting 2,000?
Yeah, I mean, Calvin Johnson's is like 1967.
No.
Who's
You said
winning it?
single. It's Calvin Johnson, 1964.
Yeah.
Dude,
Was I on?
Cooper Kupp was 20 yards away.
Wait, but hold on. Was I directly on Calvin Johnson's?
I think you were one number off. I think you were very.
Oh my god.
That's insanely. You were insanely accurate though, dude. Cooper Kupp
Yeah, that's right. Cooper Kupp
was
did surpass him.
17 yards.
Yep. You know who's quarterback? This is my argument of why
Wow.
Matthew Stafford should make the Hall of Fame. You know who the quarterback for both of
Calvin
those wide
Johnson and
receivers was?
Cooper Kupp. Matthew
Yeah,
Stafford.
was Matt Stafford.
Dude, I didn't realize he was that close. 17 yards off. Wow. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazier than Justin Jefferson this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I didn't know he was that close.
I don't think he could have won though because of Stafford. I think the reason Justin Jefferson could have won that was because of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
That's why Justin Jefferson
Stafford's a
could
Hall
win
of
it.
Famer now. Because of that Super Bowl, Stafford's a Hall of Famer.
I think he's borderline. I think he becomes the new line of Eli Manning was.
Yeah.
Of whether you're in or not. Like I think he's the line now. If he wins another or makes another deep play, I push he's a shoo-in. But like now I think he's the line.
Who's why does my camera keep doing this? Who's your coach of the year?
Man, that's a tough one.
There's so many good coaches, man.
I don't want to look at the finalists here.
Bro, my camera.
I think the easy answer is Brian Dable because of what he did with the Giants. But I still think what Kyle Shanahan did with the 49ers is more impressive. He went to the AFC Championship with a third string quarterback.
One of what I think is more impressive than all that.
What?
Your second year going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, with Nick Sirianni.
I think Nick Sirianni can easily win.
Yeah. They were the number one team in the over.
They were almost undefeated. They were like 11-0.
I think you're right. I think Brian Dable is going to be the favorite in that, like the betting favorite, and then I think Nick Sirianni could end up winning it.
I gotta get really close to my camera. Apparently, it keeps doing this every week. I think it's Nick Sirianni. I wouldn't be surprised with Brian Dable. I wouldn't be surprised. Yada yada yada. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Doug Peterson too. I mean, the finalists here are all of these finalists. I mean, Sean McDermott doesn't deserve to be a finalist.
Get it.
Uh,
Get his butt out of there, bro. No.
but the other four, I wouldn't be disappointed with either one of them.
What's the four?
Like
Nick
any of them.
Sirianni, Brian Dable, Doug Peterson.
Yep.
Who's the fourth?
Uh, Brian Dable, Sean McDermott is another one, but Doug Peterson, Kyle Shanahan, and Nick Sirianni.
I don't think
Kind of
Shanahan. I don't think Shanahan.
I don't think just because he's already been there,
Yeah.
like he's already. I don't think he's won one, but like since he's already
A good coach. We know he's a good
a good
coach.
coach, he's a good coach. I don't think he wins. I think it's Brian Dable. I think it's Brian Dable, just because
Yeah.
of New York.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
be
think Brian
surprised.
Dable wins it.
I think seriously, if any of those three win it, they deserve it. There's no arguments for me if any of those three win it.
I think Nick Sirianni would be since they made the Super Bowl and since they were such a good season, he has a fighting chance. But just
In
because
his
of New
second
York, I think
season.
Brian
In
Dable.
his second
Yeah,
season as well.
with his first season though, he turned the Giants around like that. He made Daniel Jones look like a franchise quarterback. Like we can't
Yeah.
dismiss what Brian Dable did.
Yeah, no matter what, I'm all for whoever wins if it's one of those three.
Yeah,
So I ain't gonna be too
I
mad.
agree.
Moving on to our final topic. Let me get the timestamp real quick. Moving on to our final topic. Head coaching hires so far. So I have the list of the coaches that have been hired.
Okay.
Where it starts with the first one that was announced. Frank Reich to the Panthers. First, he was their very first quarterback. Now he's their coach. What a great story. I think it's a great
That's
hire.
really.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Colts made a big mistake firing him.
Yep.
I don't think they should have ever fired him. And they made an even bigger mistake. He wanted to keep Carson Wentz. Now they're in a they have no idea who their quarterback is,
Or
and
their
they have no
coach.
idea who their coach is. So,
Yeah,
which is crazy saying you should have stayed with Carson Wentz, but I think another year with Frank Wright, Carson Wentz didn't have bad numbers. Like another year with Frank Wright, they could have been a playoff team this year. And instead, now they're in complete chaos and then in a complete rebuild.
yeah.
And Jeff
Do you
Saturday is a legitimate option for them right now, which just should be a whole reason.
do you think there's a chance Carson Wentz goes to the Panthers this offseason?
I think it's a good possibility. I don't know if Frank Wright wants him though. Now,
Well, yeah,
like
he has.
I don't think you go third team. Be like, yeah, I want Carson.
What's What's their draft pick? Carolina Panthers draft pick.
And they have a young quarterback too.
Yeah, they have he got injured this year. Not Sam Howell. It was Carson. No, not Carson Strong. Oh my gosh, I always forget his name. Sam Howell's with the Commanders. Carson Strong's with the Eagles. I knew that quarterback class so well. He's from NC State. Oh my god, this is gonna kill me. Oh my god, this is gonna kill me. This is gonna kill me.
Jacob Eason.
No, not
Or
Jacob
Philip
Eason.
Walker.
Not Jacob Eason. Matt Corral. Matt Corral, that's his name. Matt Corral's not a bad quarterback. In the fourth round, they got him the third round, they got him last year. There's a
No,
chance.
I'm just saying, like, that's why I'm like, I think he might be better than Carson at this point in their careers.
No,
Which I'm in the camp. I don't think Carson Wentz is that bad of a quarterback.
I think he's
I think he needs a good
not
coach.
great. I think he's not great.
I think he needs a good coach, but I don't think he's ever going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And why are you touching quarterback if you don't think he can win you a Super Bowl?
Bridge quarterbacks. You don't want to win a Super Bowl
Yeah.
this year. So I don't think
But Jimmy's the better bridge.
the Panthers are not winning a Super Bowl next year. So I think Carson and Matt Corral battle for the quarterback one. I want to see what their draft pick. 9. They have
Sam
number 9.
Darnold's still there too.
They have number 9 overall. That's their number. You're not getting CJ Stroud. You're not getting Bryce Young. I wouldn't trade up. I would. You're not a team that needs to trade up for a quarterback. You're not a quarterback away. You have too many holes on defense, in my opinion. I would sit at 9, maybe even trade back from 9. See if anyone wants Will Levis. I wouldn't draft Will Levis. But yeah, I'd slide back or grab a defensive guy. But I would trade for Carson. Maybe trade a 4th round pick for Carson Wentz. 2 4ths.
Is he still on a contract with the Redskins? Or sorry, the Commanders?
I think it's 2 years left. Carson Wentz I
Really?
think it's 2 years left. I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy how he's still on a contract. Yeah, 2023 and 24. But this offseason, the Commanders have an out. This offseason.
Yeah, they might. They
can save $26 million this year.
Yeah, I could see the Panthers trading.
Or they just
Like,
cut him. They might just cut him straight
quarterback.
out. That he could just get cut
Yeah.
from the Commanders and sign with them as a free agent. Yeah, I think Carson Wentz to the Panthers. I would probably put money that move happens. Matt Corral, Carson Wentz for a year, see what happens. I mean, we've seen
Sam Darnold, save cap.
that's no. And we've seen quarterbacks go to different like Ryan Tannehill went to the Titans, has had a pretty good career resurgence. I think Carson Wentz could be the same thing. Go to the Panthers with Frank Reich.
I think his shot was the Colts. I don't think you get a third shot in the NFL
He got the Commanders. That
to
was his
be
third shot.
to be a Pro Bowl. No, his first shot was Philly, messed up in Philly. Then his second shot was the Colts,
He got a third
lost
shot
with
with
the
the
Colts.
Commanders.
He got a third shot with the Commanders, lost. So you don't get a fourth shot in the NFL.
I think he's 100% getting a fourth shot because
He will. I don't think he'll be successful though. I
he's
think he's too damaged.
he's just good enough to be on a roster, but not good enough to be a starter. That's the problem. He thinks he's too good. Like, he's good enough to get money, but not good enough to get top tier money.
Yeah.
So I think him on a 1-year deal with the Panthers, I would put $20 it happens.
I could see that. I wouldn't bet against that. Like I could definitely see Frank Wright being like, "Hey, do you want us to play here for 2 years until we can go draft a quarterback or go trade for our future franchise?"
Yeah, but
Like I think that's what it would be. But
yeah, that's the Panthers. Got Frank Reich. Texans got D'Amico Ryans. Great pick. Great hire in my opinion.
it was good.
Former Houston Texans player who loved being in Houston, coming back to Houston.
It's a feel good story. I think they needed an offensive coach.
Well,
That's where I land on it. I
he's
think they
bringing
need an
over-
offensive coach because they're taking a quarterback.
Yeah, they're bringing over the offensive passing game coordinator from the 49ers. Oh, what was his name? It was a cool name. But he's bringing.
I mean, that worked then.
Let me get his name. Texans interview 49ers. Yes, Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick was their pass game coordinator. So he helped. That's a guy who had 4 quarterbacks in 1 year, and all 4 of them, well, 3 of the 4, looked amazing. Trey Lance looked really good as one game he played. Jimmy G, good. Obviously.
I think that was a lot more Kyle Shanahan than that was him. But yeah, no, he was definitely part of it.
Yeah, he was part. That's the thing. He was part of it. That's
Yeah,
what I
he
mean.
was part of
Like Eric Bieniemy is part of that offense. He should have a job somewhere. I think Bieniemy isn't taking a job because he knows he has a Chiefs job. I'm being serious. I think
I honestly, I'll put money on the Matt Nagy being the next coach of the
no,
Chiefs.
dude, it's gonna be Bieniemy. Matt Nagy left. Matt Nagy left Andy Reid. I think he's gonna remember that. You left me. Eric Bieniemy has turned down jobs to stay with me. I think there's a very high chance that he's the next Chiefs head coach.
I think if Andy retires this year, yes. If he doesn't, I think Bieniemy gets too tired and goes somewhere else.
Yeah, we'll see. I think this is one of the last years of Andy Reid, though. If they win a Super Bowl this year, I think there's a very high chance he retires.
Think if not this year, if you win a Super Bowl this year, I think he's in the next 7 to 8 years. Like I don't see an out for him if he doesn't retire this year. If they win, if they lose, I could see him staying another 2-3 years, trying to win another one. But like if they win this, you just beat the team that fired you with the team that you have. Like you will be considered one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Go out on top, man. Go out on top.
Yeah. Like that's I think
Brady
that's
should have
where
retired.
okay.
Tom Brady should have retired at that Super Bowl. He should have retired in the stadium as well. You play at your home stadium. You should have retired after that Bucs Super Bowl, man. It would have been the perfect go out. I think Andy Reid, if they win this year, he retires on top.
I think he does too.
Which would then mean
I've listened. I think he should, but I've listened to some recent interviews. He was on Cowherd this last week. He does not sound like he wants to retire. He's talking future. He's talking.
When I say he will, I'm saying if I'm him, I would.
I don't know if he's ready. Like he's still like he's a young whatever. He's a young mid-60s. I know he's mid-60s. I don't know if it's 64, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I don't know what it is, but he's pushing 70. I know that. So the oldest coach in the NFL now is 71.
Pete Carroll. Yep.
I mean, yep. And so are almost 72. He'll be the next year.
I have a feeling that if they win this year, he's gonna retire, and he's gonna go. Listen, I think there'll be a huge news story as well. Eric Bieniemy was offered 4 jobs over the last 5 years. he turned down each and every one because he wanted to be part of this Chiefs team. I want with Brett Veach, we want to officially appoint him the new head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I
Matt
could see
Nagy
that
is now
happening
the
in
offensive
a like.
coordinator.
I actually think that would be very possible if Andy Reid stayed around too. Like
Oh yeah,
Andy,
yeah. He can
let's
go in the
take
he
a
can go in the
similar
front
to like
office. He can go into the
what's
front
his face in
office.
Tampa. Yeah, what's a similar story to
Bruce
Tampa?
Arians. Bruce
What's
Arians.
Bruce Arians went into like that managerial
Yeah,
type role. I could see Andy Reid kind of moving into that and then kind of taking his hands off. Like,
because he can
hey,
go into
you
he can
can be
go into
around for
go
all
into
the
player
fun things.
developments. Yeah, go into the
Yeah,
player development and scouting. It just like
or
it's
be an
hey
offensive like I could also see him being an offensive coordinator. Like,
no
I
he
don't
like
think he could, but
if
no, he'd
if
probably go management,
it would be in the management. He would not control the roster, but he would be like, "Hey, I'm an
scouting.
executive. Like I'm just a
Yeah.
advisor role where I just help Brett Veach, and if they have any
Or even
questions, I help them out."
scouting, player
Yeah,
development,
like I'm telling you,
contract
man.
development. Yeah,
I'm
he'd
telling you,
be endorser. Like he'd be a good endorser for the like. There's multiple roles that he could
he's.
find in Kansas City.
I think if they go out, that's what's gonna happen. Is that let's
Yeah.
say like it's February 13th game. Let's say February 20th, a week after the Super Bowl, it's announced, hey, Eric Bieniemy is now the official head coach.
Mhm.
Everyone else is staying. The only
Yeah.
change is that I will be in a advisor manager role. Matt Nagy's a new
I could
offensive
see that.
coordinator. Matt
Mm-hmm.
Nagy's the offensive coordinator, so he still stays. He gets promoted from QB coach to offensive coordinator. Bieniemy's the head coach, and Matt Nagy even assistant head coach. I don't care. But Matt Nagy then has a restart of his career.
I just that's where I think I don't know if Andy Reid's done this year. Listening to what he's been talking about,
Mm.
he just loves Patrick Mahomes. I
Yeah, and
think he
he
found
can
his
still love him.
quarterback that he's been looking for all of his life, and
He
he's
can
like,
still
I'm
love
gonna
him,
ride
man.
this.
As a manager, he can
Yeah.
still love him, and he still gets Super Bowl rings whenever they win. Because everyone in the front office gets a Super Bowl ring. He can still get a
Hmm.
ring. Like
He
I'm
loves
being serious.
coaching Mahomes.
Advisor. He's
Yeah,
gonna be an advisor.
yeah, we'll see. I don't disagree with either. I wouldn't be upset if he stayed or left.
By the way, this
Like,
is about D'Amico Ryan's. We totally went on to the Chiefs, but D'Amico Ryan's good hire in my opinion.
yeah,
Cool.
Chiefs are hard not. They're going to the Super Bowl, and then
not not much to say about
the
them.
biggest one.
Yeah, it's Sean Payton. The biggest.
Yeah,
It's Sean Payton. Uh,
yeah.
if how do I word this in a nice way? If Russ cannot win with Sean Payton, he's not a Hall of Famer.
That's a fair assumption. I think he's a Hall of. I think he's already had a Hall of Fame career
Dude, I'm
with
being
Seattle.
serious. If he does not,
He's already had like 12 seasons with Seattle where he was almost in the playoffs every single year and won a Super Bowl one to another. I think it's too late now to consider him not a Hall of Famer, but I think he's not considered top 15 of all time. Like I think he drops way down. Where we were looking at him a few years ago to be like the next Peyton Manning or the next like we thought he was going to take over the NFL. We didn't know Patrick Mahomes was coming out of nowhere. Like we thought Tom Brady was going to retire, Peyton Manning was going to retire, Drew Brees was going to retire, and then here comes Russell Wilson, and it just never happened. So if he can't win with Sean Payton, I think it will hurt his legacy, but I don't think it's not Hall of Famer. But I don't disagree with that statement. I don't think he necessarily would deserve it. But yeah. Anyway, continue what you were saying. Sorry, kind of
no, you're
interrupted.
good. No, I say stuff to try and get reactions, but like
Yeah,
I say stuff I believe to get reactions because
yeah.
I'm very early to I jumped the gun a lot. Like I said, Josh Allen isn't a top 5 QB to me anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
you said if he doesn't win a Super Bowl next year, if he loses again, you'll agree with that.
You're chaotic. I'm more stable minded. It's
Yeah,
fine. It works.
I think 100% this year impacted his legacy because
Oh
the
yeah.
Seahawks made the playoffs. If the
Hmm.
Seahawks didn't make the playoffs,
If
and
the
Gino,
Seahawks didn't make the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
exactly, I'm with you. It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And like Gino had a 4,000-yard passing season, only the second quarterback to do it behind Russ. That shows that it wasn't Pete Carroll, it wasn't their offensive
Yeah.
coordinator, it was
Pete
Russ.
Carroll won that divorce 100%
Yes.
until yeah, like
So let's just say they go 8 wins, right? They win 8 games, but Russ is like average at best.
yeah.
I think he's out of the. I think he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer anymore. I think I think he
I agree
was.
first ballot. Yeah.
I think he was with the Seahawks. I think he was 100%.
I think
He was
here's
first
what's
ballot.
interesting. I think if he would have retired, like I'm done with football, he's first ballot.
I agree.
But now his season with the Denver, I think he hurt his legacy more than which honestly he doesn't win with Sean Payton, and then we maybe he plays one more year with Sean Payton, and then I think they give him 2 years with Sean Payton to
Oh
try to
yeah,
turn.
yeah. He
Unless
has
he's
2 years.
completely abysmal, like unless he's completely just horrible, I think they give him 2 years with Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton has 5, 7 years with the Broncos. Like I think
Yeah.
he'll be the coach for a while.
Well, they traded a first
Um,
round pick. He's staying there.
yeah, I think that's where he retires. Like that's his last stop. Like I think it's all that's set. But anyway, I think he's at 2 years. I think it'll be similar to Joe Montana to the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't ever see Joe Montana in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. He's always a 49er. I think he will look more as a Seahawk, and maybe but you also got to think you got to be retired for 5 years before that sting of this season is not going to last 5 years as much. So he might still be first ballot, but it definitely did hurt when they're looking at different. But I don't think it will last the 5 years. I think they'll look at the Seahawks record, 2 Super Bowls, 1 in the playoffs almost every year. One of the best deep ball throwers we've ever seen. Like one of the best mobile quarterbacks we've ever seen. I think he'll end up being a first ballot regardless, but he definitely hurt that right now.
Yeah, and he chose a team with Patrick Mahomes in it, which was a terrible, terrible misstep by him. Because
Which I don't know if he chose that.
no, he did. He 100% chose the Broncos. Because like, if he wanted, if he wanted to actually play for like, because he got the money, obviously he was gonna get the money no matter where he went. The NFC South had 44-year-old Tom Brady and no Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
If he would have gone to the Saints or if he would have gone to the Falcons, the Falcons weren't as good. The Saints really were the team I thought he was going to go to. I'm being serious. I thought it was the Saints. If he would have gone to the Saints,
They would have had to release a lot of their roster to
no,
even.
there was like I watched a video last year. They
Oh
did
yeah.
not have to. That's the crazy part. They could have traded for
Hmm.
him and like I don't remember any of this stuff now. But they kept Cam Jordan. They kept Michael Thomas. They kept Demario
A lot of the
Davis.
key players.
The key
But
players they
they
kept.
essentially wouldn't have depth, so they
Yes,
would get rid of all their
like
depth.
the Rams, when they won their Super Bowl. But they had no
Yeah.
depth. They had all their starters. They couldn't extend anyone, but they had their starters for one season.
Yeah.
I think the NFC this year, if he
Mhm.
would have played like he did in Seattle, because we don't know if it was it the
I
scheme.
think if Russ goes back to the Saints, Sean Payton goes back to the Saints.
Oh yeah, I think he would have
Sean Payton
unretired.
left because Drew Brees was done, and there was no quarterback in sight that the Saints were going to get.
Yeah, and there was rumors that Sean Payton likes Russ. Like there were like there's a reason that Sean Payton chose the Broncos to go to.
Yeah, there was also rumors that Sean Payton and Tom Brady were
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to
no,
be the
that's
next
true.
Miami,
No, that was 100% gonna
and
happen. That
yeah,
was 100% gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah. It didn't because it was all illegal what they
Yeah,
did.
all of it. But
Yeah.
I do think that if he would have gone to the Saints and Sean Payton, because Sean Payton didn't retire yet, he retired like mid off season. That's why they
Mhm.
had to hire Dennis Allen. But I think
Yeah.
Sean would have stayed. They could have had a really good year, and he could have won the
Mhm.
Super Bowl this year because the NFC South was so weak. Like they were only
Yeah.
like a game or two behind the Bucks with
And you
Andy
think
Dalton.
that's crazy to say, but who's the team that would have stopped them? Maybe Philly and maybe 49ers. 49ers were QB desperate. I think the Saints could have beat them, and they definitely could have beat Philly. Philly has a lot of holes, so they could have. It could have been something, but Russ had just a crazily bad year. That's just
And
it.
there's no predicting would he have had that year if he was just Sean Payton this year.
I don't think he would have.
Yeah,
I think Sean Payton's too good of a coach.
yeah. I'm thinking that was mostly Hackett and like just their scheme they had with the
I
offense.
think Hackett's not a bad coach. I don't think he could fix Russ's slump.
Yeah,
Where Sean Payton, I believe he could have fixed his slump.
because
But
he has a slump almost every year. He slumps a
I've
little bit,
also
and
listened to Sean Payton and some of like his coaching ethics and like some of his coaching strategies. The man's just a good coach. He's
yeah,
just a really good coach. So I think it'll be successful. I think it's a great hire by the Broncos. They went big with their quarterback. They needed to go big with their head coaching in the next coaching hire. They couldn't have gone small. I think they needed a veteran to go that's dealt with drama, that's dealt with chaos, that's dealt with a lot of these things to help fix Russ. I don't think they could have gone with a rookie because a rookie head coach would not be as big as Russell. So Russell still would have had to say. Russell still would have had all the players would have listened to Russell. It would have created chaos. Sean Payton owns the Broncos now.
yeah.
That is
He's a Super
Sean
Bowl
Payton's
winning head
team.
coach. He's one of the
Yeah,
best head
he's
coaches of
walking
our
into
era.
that room, and Russell, that's the one coach I think Russell will sit down and listen to.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
everyone else, he would have been at odds.
Also, I think his office is gone. I think Russ's office in that building is absolutely gone now. Sean's gonna be like,
Oh, it
bro,
was. His. It's been leaked now that that was one of the conditions for him going there. Is Russ no longer has any say.
I can't believe he actually had an office. So that's insane. Like, you're a. I don't want to get into it. That's like Russ's character the last year has really taken a hit because everyone has come out of the woodworks, be like, guys, this is Russ. We've known Russ for 10 years. This is what he is. And like Pete Carroll hit that a lot. Like he hit that a lot. But yeah, that's all of our
I think
topics.
he's definitely got some ego there. Like
Oh,
he's
100%.
definitely,
He has a
yeah.
massive inflated ego. It's insane how bad of an ego he's got.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I just don't think he's a great leader of men.
Yeah.
You can still be a good guy and a good person, and not be a good leader.
Yeah, Gino's
Like,
a leader of men,
yeah.
and that's what everyone has said. Like they literally
hmm
say the difference between Gino and Russ is massive.
hmm That's what I'm saying. That's why earlier when we were talking like Deshaun, I don't think he'll win a Super Bowl because he's not a leader of men. Like Justin Fields, I think he will because he knows how to light up a room. Joe Burrow, I think he knows how to light up a room. There was a sideline cut that I got goosebumps on that I really thought the Bengals were going to win because Joe Burrow went to the sideline and he's yelling, but motivationally yelling. Like I don't think he was cussing them out. Like we need one drive, get your together,
Yeah.
and let's go win this. Like that's the type of quarterback you need to go win. Unfortunately, you're playing one of the best ever quarterbacks to ever do it, Patrick Mahomes, and you didn't win that. But I think Sean Payton becomes that leader of men that they need. They need a leader in that locker room, and then I think they'll be fine. They'll be a playoff. The betting odds now are plus 8.5. Like I think 100%, I would take the over on that. Like they'll win 10, 11 games, and they'll be a wild card team definitely next year.
Yeah. But that's all of our topics for this week. Fun week to talk about. Next week's gonna be a little slow. Nothing's gonna happen, right? Right? Nothing's gonna happen next week, right? Right? NFL, right? Nothing big's gonna happen, right? But thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please go down to the description, hit both of our link trees, and follow us on everything. Go buy some merch from Aaron's shop. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, whatever is linked in our description. I've been trying to post more on Twitter, but dear God, I suck at betting. So mostly just me crying. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. See you guys later. Peace. Bye.